Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The September 2nd, 2009 meeting of the City Council is called to order. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. And these proceedings are being presented live on KCLV Cable Channel 2 and are closed captioned for our hearing impaired viewers. The council meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, can be viewed on the city's website at www.kclv.tv. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV Channel 2 and the web the Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m. and also on Friday at 4 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., and the following Monday at 1 p.m. This building is protected by a state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler system. So if alarms should activate, please leave through the exits, and our marshals will tell you when it's safe to re-enter. There's no reason to believe that will take place, but I've been asked to make that announcement in an abundance of caution. Before we proceed with the agenda, would everyone please rise for the invocation given this morning by Dr. Joel Menchaca, Amistad Cristiano Church, and please remain standing for the pledge. Bless you.
Thank you. Dear Heavenly Father, we appreciate you. We thank you for Mayor Goodman and his council, for every official of our great city. We ask for wisdom, understanding, and patience as they go through the issues of today's session. For we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is the ceremonial portion of our agenda, and Mayor Pro Tem Gary Reeves is going to recognize the September Citizen of the Month. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a second, please. I got some picture I'd like to go to the overhead with. I'm doing something today out of the ordinary. We're going to honor somebody that I'm going to ask the mayor if he can make him a temporary citizen of the city of Las Vegas.
I had the privilege of meeting this gentleman earlier today, and I didn't realize it, but I have known of him for years, but I had the amazing time to actually chat with him. He's a very special human being. There's a book called In Thin Air about a crack hour, and it is a wonderful, wonderful true story about the climbing of Mount Everest and how the Sherpas assist going up the tallest mountain in the world. And I had the privilege, as I say, of meeting the Sherpa who guided these many trips, some 19 of them, up to Mount Everest. And as a result of that, I'd like to make the gentleman an honorary citizen of Las Vegas, and not just for today, but forever. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite Appa Sherpa to come forward with his wife, Yun Sin. And Valerie, if you come right up here, please. And Valerie, if you come up, please. This is Valerie Littleton, who is a friend of theirs. And Valerie and her dad has climbed to the base camp 2 years ago. And so Valerie knows what it's all like. Come right up here, please. First of all, I'd like staff, we have a video we'd like to show if we could real quick. This here, the photo we got on the overhead right now. Oh, we're going to see the film first. There is no audio.
In the quiet village of Thame, Nepal, a legend was born. Appa Sherpa
Okay,
grew up in the shadow of Mount Everest.
is this Mount Everest right here?
Barely surviving
Okay.
an avalanche as an infant.
Okay.
Appa's
yeah.
mother
These
knew
are prayer
that
flags.
he was
They
a
hang them
special
up for
child.
safety. And you'll see them all around the base camp of Mount Everest. You'll see them in all of the villages, all of the overhanging bridges.
As a child, Appa's dream had always been
Who is that? Is that you?
to become a doctor.
Oh, this is his cousin. This is Thame School. This is where my daughter and I went last year to backpack in school supplies. This is his family. And that is, they're standing in front of their tea house. They've built a tea house in their village, which is beautiful. And Yongjin fixes the best food ever in the Himalayas. These are porters. And when Appa was 12 years old, his father died. He was going to school at the time, hoping to become a doctor. And his father passed away, and so he had to go to work as a porter. And they carry up to double their body weight, going straight up mountains, treacherous. And later was able to become a climbing Sherpa. This is Khumbu Icefall. It's one of the most dangerous parts of climbing Mount Everest. Is that the Hillary Step? Hillary Step is the very last step to get to the summit. It's one of the more technical parts, but you're also at the death zone where you don't have a lot of oxygen to be thinking straightly. So, are you working up the Hillary Step right here? Yes, that's just right at the Hillary Step. So they're just maybe an hour from the summit? I guess it depends. Sherpa hour, the rest of us 5 hours. He'll say 2-day walk. I say, yeah, for you. For me, 5-day walk. Meeting fellow trekkers.
But by how much they help their neighbor.
And you go to Nepal with Appa, and everybody knows who Appa is.
Although Sherpas are rarely recognized for the hard work
So the hike to base camp, just to base camp, is about 10 to 12 days of very steep climbing. Base camp is 18,000 feet. And what are you receiving here, Appa?
Best award of Utah.
Oh, that's the Best of Utah award, and that was just this year. Right, this is his family. You can see Yongjin, Dawa, their daughter, Pemba, their son, then Appa's next, and Tenzing. And he has lived in the United States for 2 years because he wanted his children to have a choice on what they did with their lives. He had to climb. He had to be a Sherpa climber, and it's very dangerous, and he's lost a lot of very good friends and family along the way, and he wanted his sons to have a choice in the matter, and that's why he's here. And that's his climbing ice pick. Base camp, what camp is this? Oh, Camp 4. This is Camp 4, so this is right before the summit. 26,000 feet. What's the death zone? Anything above 26,000? 26,000 above is considered the death zone. What time do you wake up to summit? Like midnight? Or?
We have to leave 9 p.m.
9 p.m. they start their summit bid. And Appa is also, he climbs for Eco Everest, and he's very involved in cleaning up the mountain because there's a lot of debris left behind from all of the climbers throughout the years, and they have brought down a lot of debris from the mountain. That's the summit of Mount Everest. Mount Everest is believed to be the mother goddess of the earth.
Next thing you know, Appa pops over.
He's the 63-year-old. He's the oldest American sea climber.
To climb?
Yeah, climber. He's the oldest person.
Right there, he's
Person to climb. If I climb, I'll be the oldest person then. That's great.
in that clip. He's talking about how Appa saved his life. So I wish you could hear that.
And he said, you know, I think probably I could get you there. But then he said, I don't know if I can.
Thank you very much. We have an idea of what Appa's done. To me, you know, we all have God-given talents. And this man has really, to me, distinguished himself in doing what he has done. I was about, I don't know, 37, 38 years old. I was up deer hunting up by Lehman Caves, and we had 2 of the 4 deer, and I decided I wanted to climb Mount Wheeler. And Mount Wheeler is about 13,000 feet. And the experience I had, I was by myself, which I should never have done, but I went by myself. I got up probably, to me, 11 or 12,000 feet, and I started feeling a little bit funny. I mean, and I thought, well, I'm just climbing too fast, so I started slowing down. And when I got to the top, it was like I didn't know where I was at. I mean, it was just, I'm here. But I climbed it too fast, I think. But coming back down was even harder. And to me, it's an experience. So when I had an opportunity to meet Appa and Val and her dad, after they went up to 18,000 feet, to me it's a tremendous thing. And we honor basketball players, baseball players, many different types of people that excel. And to me, Appa has excelled in doing what he's done. And for him to take his family and move them, just a short bio here real quick. I want to read a little bit here. Appa has participated in 19 expeditions and reached the summit 18 times, adhering to a simple philosophy that Everest will always be there, and it is more important to keep all team members and Sherpas safe. Appa has led his teams to amazing success. He is a recipient of 3 medals of commendation from the royal family of Nepal, as well as being recognized by mountaineering associations around the world. If Appa could have planned his life differently, however, he says that he would gladly have given up the world records for a good education and a career as a medical doctor. That is why education for his own children and for other children from Thame is his top priority. So it was with this desire that he brought his children to the United States so that they could have free choice. And to me, that's tremendous. When we award, to me, the Citizen of the Month, it's always somebody that's extinguished themselves. And Appa, to me, you have certainly extinguished yourself. And at this time, I would like to present this certificate declaring you as a City of Las Vegas and Citizen of the Month for September 2009 on behalf of the Mayor and the Las Vegas City Council. And we do have something that's going to be hanging on the pole out here on 4th Street for the next month showing us that you're the Citizen of the Month for the City of Las Vegas. And council members, I appreciate your indulgence in me today. This is, to me, is tremendous. This is a picture of Appa on the overhead that on his 18th climb. And like I say, it's just a tremendous feat as far as I'm concerned, and I just appreciate the opportunity I have of presenting him today as our Citizen of the Month. You want to say a few words? You want to say a few words?
Spell, can we help now?
Yes, absolutely. What would you like me to tell them?
Just I would like to thank you. This is very important for me.
Appa does speak a little bit of English.
They want to hear your voice more than me.
Okay.
I'll hold this for you.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for you all. So this is very, today I'm very excited to get this award, this certificate. I'm very excited. This is very special for me. I would like to say thank you for Mayor. Thank you. So, thank you for you all. Yes. Thank you.
Appa and Youngjin would like to present you all with a kata, which is a blessing scarf. And the 3 different things that it says is good luck, thank you, and welcome. And so visitors and special friends will give each other blessing scarves of katas. So he wants to give everyone one of those from the council. He also has a picture of him on the summit that's signed for each of you also.
This contains a rock from the summit.
That's a rock from the summit of Mount Everest.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's great.
And if we could, Appa, if you could just hold this. If we could all come in for a picture, please.
Okay.
Appa, you go over here by the mayor, please. Mayor? Appa,
Okay.
by the mayor.
There we go.
And one final comment. Can you imagine anybody being this tall, carrying 200 pounds of rock and a rope bag on their back, around their neck, up a mountain like that? To me, it's totally amazing. And thank you guys for coming down and allowing us to honor you today. Thank you.
And it's amazing, Mayor Pro Tem. I get the same kind of lightheadedness after 3 martinis. I think it's a lot easier than going up 18,000 feet. Can't help myself, folks. I'm sorry. Okay, for our next item, it's my pleasure to present the city's Employee of the Year Award. I would like to invite Acting Office of Business Development Director Bill Arendt and Deputy Director Steve Van Gorp to join us up here. And I'm pleased to announce that the 2008-2009 Employee of the Year is Real Estate Specialist Julie Kiesenberry. Since coming to work for the city in October of 2004, Julie has established herself as an integral part of the city's business development team. Julie was instrumental in negotiating one of the Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency's most creative incentive packages to secure the much-needed Buy Low supermarket in Ward 5. Residents in that area had gone for years without a supermarket, and Julie's hard work went a long way to ensuring that these residents now have a full-service grocery store in their neighborhood. She also created the RDA's Retail Downtown Las Vegas program that is designed to market downtown as the place to be for new retail shops and restaurants. Shops like Globe Salon in the Soho Lofts and restaurants like Triple George and the Potato Valley Cafe are the beginning of new revitalized downtown featuring sidewalks lined with retail shops and cafes, one of the dreams of this council. So our vision of a world-class downtown doesn't just happen. We need people like Julie to get out there and to do the work that makes the vision a reality. And we really appreciate your upbeat attitude and professionalism that you bring to work every day. In case you are not aware, Julie was selected from among 12 employees of the month over the past year. And on behalf of the entire City Council, we would like to congratulate you on being named the Employee of the Year. This is a beautiful plaque, which is being awarded to you. And Julie has already received a $100 Visa gift card, which she spent. No, it doesn't say that. A $100 Visa gift card. That's gone. I knew that would be gone. Okay. The football season's about to start. I'm going to need your help. Compliments of Nevada Federal Credit Union and $500 from the City of Las Vegas and a 90-day membership to 24-Hour Fitness. She also receives an Employee of the Year lapel pin and badge clip. And I'd like Bill to say a few words, and then we'll hear from Julie. I think you have some friends out there today with you. Would you like them to come up and share this with you? Yes. Why don't, are they family or friends?
Family.
Why doesn't Julie's family come up here, please?
I have my aunt and uncle visiting from Texas.
Good. Her aunt and uncle are here from Texas. And come on. There we go. All right, Bill, while the folks are moseying up here, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. It is, Mayor, as you know, baseball season, so I'll use a baseball analogy. We have a wonderful team in Office of Business Development, and every great team needs a great closer. And we were fortunate and blessed to have Julie join our staff from the private real estate industry, where she has brought a wonderful amount of expertise and knowledge, but most important, tenacity and persistence, which is such a wonderful virtue to have when you work at the City of Las Vegas. Things don't come easy. You have to be persistent to make sure that they happen. And we've been real blessed to have Julie as a part of our team. She's been a wonderful closer to have such great success in getting the Bilo market landed in West Las Vegas, to have a lot of retail businesses open up in downtown where before they wouldn't even look at downtown. So I just want to thank Julie personally from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Julie. You've done a wonderful job over the past year, and we look forward to more great things to come. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you, Mayor, members of City Council. I'd like to thank the City Manager's Office, the Office of Business Development, who came out in force this morning, especially the Office of Business Development Real Estate team, Diane and Joanne. Steve Van Gorp, Bill Arndt, thank you very much, and especially my family who came out in force this morning to support me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you. Great job. Great job. Good. Thanks for coming up, folks. We appreciate it. Thank you. For our next item, we're going to recognize a special team of employees. The Team Quarterly Recognition Program is an effort within the city to honor a group of city employees that exemplify the city's vision, mission, values, and priorities through exceptional teamwork and outstanding performance. To help in making this presentation, I'd like to ask Building and Safety Director Chris Knight to please join us up here. And I'm pleased to announce that the Building and Safety Extreme Home Makeover Team has been named as the Team of the Quarter. This is a group of more than 20 employees who donated their own time to help a Las Vegas family. This team was a key part of ABC's Extreme Makeover Home Edition, which this spring built a new home for a deserving Las Vegas family in Ward 6. For those who haven't seen the show, it requires building a new home from nothing in 7 days. So this requires building inspectors, plan examiners, and permit technicians to be available 24 hours a day for 7 days so that the show can meet its construction deadlines. The only way that could happen was if the building and safety team volunteered to be at the construction site during their off hours and on their own time. There was no hesitation on the part of these employees to give of themselves to make a special dream come true for their fellow citizens. Without this group of dedicated employees, the house would not have been built. I'd like all the members of the team to please come up here so we can give you a round of applause. This is a very special group of folks from our Building and Safety Department. They work very, very hard with these challenging times that we're facing. They've had to step up and really work even harder than they did before but to make sure that their buildings meet safety standards. And they've been one of the parts of the city that's been hit the hardest by the down economy. So I think it speaks volumes that these folks found time to go out and to really help their fellow Las Vegans, and that's what working for the city is really about. So I really want to thank you on behalf of the City Council. I'd like to congratulate you on building the Safety Extreme Home Makeover team and being named the team of the quarter. The team members have already received certificates recognizing their accomplishments, but now, Chris, where are you? Oh, okay. I have no peripheral vision either, and that was before I started drinking. I'd like Chris to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. Pride is a small word, but it's a big emotion for me on the work that these folks do. I'm associated with a department that, while they get a paycheck, most of these folks do this not for the paycheck, but because they believe in what they're doing. Building and Safety Department is about safety, and when this project came forward, we were in the middle of doing a reduction in force, and we were asked to help with this project to give a house to a family who needed a new house. And out of the dedication that these folks have to their jobs, the belief in what they do, they volunteered their time knowing that some of them wouldn't have a job just a few days after this project was completed. And we're extremely proud of them. It shows the quality of employees that we have not only in Building and Safety but throughout the city of Las Vegas. And I know I joined the city manager and the council and everyone associated with the city in expressing our thanks to them and our appreciation of their dedication. And sometimes Building and Safety gets accused of delaying projects. We built a house and helped a construction company and an engineering firm build a house, not in 7 days, but in about 5 days. So, you know, with a little cooperation, a little work, we can get things done in this city, and these are the folks that do it. And we're extremely proud of them, and we're thankful to the council, the mayor, and members of the council for recognizing them as the team of the quarter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. I'd like to shake everybody's hand.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Good job. Great job. Thank you very much. That's great. Chris doing a great job. Okay. Now, Councilman Anthony is going to recognize a very special group of citizens that are a great example to us during National Preparedness Month. Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. It's my honor as a member of the City Council and as a former captain with the Las Vegas Police Department to remind everyone here and everyone watching on television that September is National Preparedness Month. And this is a time when we remind our families and our businesses and our community that we have to plan and we have to be prepared for an emergency that occurs, whether it's going to be natural or man-made. And first of all, this is a time, and we could go on for hours talking about this, but I know the mayor won't let me. We could talk about the families and businesses need to be prepared for an emergency that may occur. And that includes, do you know the local emergency numbers that you need to call to get information? Do you know how to contact your family members during an emergency to find out where to meet, where you're supposed to be? Is everyone okay? Do you have a home disaster supply kit in your home where if you have to shelter in place in your home, do you have enough water, enough food, a radio with a battery that you can listen to emergency information? What are you going to do with your pets? And do you have an evacuation plan just in case you have to evacuate your home? Do you have your medication and information and tools in one place that you can grab and evacuate your home and have everything that you need for maybe 2 to 3 days? There's a lot of information out there that can help you with this. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department has what's called a HANDS booklet. It's available online. It's called the Home and Neighborhood Disaster Safety Services. The City of Las Vegas has information, Clark County, the Red Cross. They all have information that you can receive to help you be ready for an emergency. So that's number one. Number two is this community really needs to be prepared to to help first responders, because when an emergency occurs, it's going to be our men and women in uniform, our firefighters and our police officers that are going to respond to an emergency, and they're going to be stretched thin. There's a lot that they need to do, so is our community ready to assist them in some way? Are they trained, and do they have the tools to help our first responders to take care of their particular neighborhood? And I'm proud to say that a community in Ward 4 10 years ago took the lead in preparing their community members to respond to an emergency, to assist first responders and take care of their neighbors and volunteer to assist. 10 years ago, Sun City Summerlin created the Community Emergency Response Team, which is a program to train volunteers to assist first responders and take care of their community in the event of an emergency. It's a 24-hour course. You volunteer for the course, and you learn about what disasters may occur, how to deal with fires, reduce the causes of fires, deal with life-threatening injuries, how to safely evacuate folks, how to respond to a terrorist incident, and how to organize a response in their particular community. These graduates then are prepared to help their neighborhood, especially those folks in Sun City, deal with a natural or man-made disaster. Over the last 10 years, over 100 citizens in Sun City have volunteered and gone through this CERT program and are now official members of the Homeland Security team that are going to protect this community in the event of a some kind of a disaster. I'm honored to recognize some folks that are a part of this particular program. I'd like them to come up. The chairman of the board for Sun City Summerlin, Richard Post, if you come up, please, Mr. Post, thank you. I'd also like to invite B.J. Martins, who is the current coordinator of the CERT team. Caroline Levering is City of Las Vegas Emergency Management Coordinator, who helps with this program. I'd also like to Phil McKay. Mr. McKay, if you come up, Mr. McKay is a retiree from the LA Fire Department, and he is the one who started the CERT program 10 years ago and started this volunteer program. And then one of the original graduates of the CERT program 10 years ago, Mr. Warren Mullen, if you could come up. And I'd just like to recognize these folks for taking the lead and making sure this community is safe. Thank you very much. And with that, I'd like to present you, Mr. Post, you're the chairman, I'd like to present you with the proclamation from the City of Las Vegas that names Sun City Summerlin Las Vegas Premier Ready America Community. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Well, I'd just like to say thanks to the people in Sun City Summerlin who have organized this program. Phil, who started it, B.J. Martins, who has kept it going for so long and has a class of 50 standing by to get started here very shortly, and Warren Mellon, who has been on our, sorry about that, Warren, who was one of our early graduates and is an example to the rest of us of what this is all about. Thank you so much, Mayor and Councilman.
Thank you. Great having you. Good job. There you go.
Thanks, Gary.
Yes, I would just like to, on behalf of CERT and of the CPC, which is the Community Preparedness Committee of Sun City Summerlin, thank the association for their support of our efforts. Here's a good example. This is our community magazine that comes out once a month, and we have a full page dedicated to the registration for the upcoming course. And if anybody hasn't signed up yet, all you have to do is call me. The first class is September 30th, and we have actually increased to 7 classes now instead of 6. This happened just yesterday in a meeting with Rick Diebold. He offered an additional module called sheltering, and that would be to prepare us to, and you don't even know about this yet, Mr. President. This would be to prepare us, our facilities to be used by the Red Cross in the event of disaster. And there's a training program for that, and we'll get the association's approval on that, I'm sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. That's great. For our final item, the Mayor Pro Tem will recognize Leukemia, Lymphoma, and Myeloma Awareness Month. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can we have Sylvia Wolf Please come forward. We have a proclamation here for Leukemia, Lymphoma, and Melanoma Awareness Month. In the last 2 months, I've had 3 friends of mine have come down with lymphoma. And so it is very dear to our hearts, all the citizens of Las Vegas. I won't read the proclamation, but I would like to present this to you, Sylvia. And just have you say a few words, if you would, please.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you, Mayor Goodman and City Council. I think this is a very interesting timing for us to be here, and thank you for proclaiming Leukemia, Lymphoma, Myeloma Awareness Month. I wish that Appa Sherpa could place a blessing scarf on everybody diagnosed. That would be so nice. It's also very interesting timing because one of our good friends and colleagues, Shirley Paraguari, just lost her battle with leukemia on Sunday, and so we miss her. The leukemia family, the blood cancers family, which are the leukemias and lymphomas and Hodgkin's disease and non-Hodgkin's disease, strike all kinds of different people, every age group, every ethnicity, every social class. It knows no barriers. They are the huge family of the blood cancers. I can tell you that the Leukemia Society nationwide is doing incredible research, and we are saving lives. Not everybody's body will take to the cures, but we are saving lives. In 1964, children that were diagnosed with one of the leukemias, or even adults, 65% of them pretty much lost their battle. Now 96% of them are alive. And that's through the research dollars that are provided through fundraising campaigns and direct mail and gifts that people give us. I'm very proud to tell you that here in Las Vegas, one of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society supported researchers who are making these cures happen is right here at the Nevada Cancer Institute. So we're very proud that we are providing local impact. We have incredible amount of programs that we provide here locally in the Valley, from patient education to healthcare professionals. We also provide a patient aid program to help people through their cancer journey financially. We are doing amazing work. We're saving lives, and I can attest because I'm one of those survivors. I'm very, very pleased to be here, and thank you so much for acknowledging us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Okay, and then we have a happy announcement to make. We have a new addition to our council family. Ricky Barlow II was born, I believe, on Saturday? On Friday morning. I lost a day. On Friday morning, I called the councilman, and look at him, he's beaming. 6 pounds, 8 ounces, 19 and a half inches. The baby is doing great, and his bride is doing just as well. So we want to congratulate Ricky for a new addition. Thank you. Thank you. That's it.
Okay, I think we're all set. All right, item number 10, any items from the morning session that the council, staff, and/or the applicant wish to be stricken or held in abeyance to a future meeting may be brought forward and acted upon at this time. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have item number 41 is a public hearing to recover costs for 4601 Met Park Drive owners. I'm not going to try to pronounce that name. And Virginia Chavez. Staff's asked to strike. Item 47 is appeal of work cardinal for Dion Brown, Short Line Express Market, 6390 North Durango Drive. Staff's asked to strike. At this time, council members, are there any other items we need to bring forward? Seeing none, Your Honor, I make a motion to bring these items forward and take the appropriate action, please.
All right, let's vote on that, please. Post. Motion carries. Ms. Bridges, the record should reflect that the Councilwoman Tarkanian is excused from today's session. Thank you. Item number 11, approval of the final minutes by reference of the regular City Council meeting of August 5, 2009. May I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
Yes, Your Honor. No additions or deletions. Make a motion to approve the minutes, please.
Thank you. Let's vote, please. Post. Motion carries. Thank you. Items 12 through 39 are on the consent agenda. They're considered to be routine. They're recommended for approval by the departments and may be enacted in one motion. Are there any items that the council wishes to bring forward from the consent agenda?
Here, item 31.
Item 31. Any others? All right, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, Your Honor. I'd make a motion to approve items 12 through 39, with the exceptions of 31, please, with all conditions.
All right, let's vote on that, please.
Just one moment.
We have a question on 22.
On 22? All right. Wait, well, I have to read it into the record.
We'll leave that in a second.
We'll get to it in a moment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, my motion then, Your Honor, is to approve items 12 through 39, with the exceptions of item 22 and 31, with all conditions, please.
Thank you. Let's vote, please. Post. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 22 is approval to increase the capital improvement plan for the conservation energy projects by $5,845,921 and renewable energy projects by $4,974,453 due to funding being provided through anticipated installment purchase agreements. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I have a question. What is the source of these close to $11 million?
Fine. Mr. Vincent, our finance director, would be happy to answer you, but first you'll have to identify yourself for the record.
June Ingram, Charleston Neighborhood President.
Thank you very much. Mr. Vincent.
Thank you, Your Honor. For the record, Mark Vincent, Chief Financial Officer for the City of Las Vegas. The conservation energy projects, that's related to an item we have on the agenda today. It's a public hearing, item 50. That's going to be financed through energy conservation bonds. It's our block allotment from the ERA project, the ERA funding program. And
ERA funding?
ERA. It's
the stimulus plan.
Stimulus plan.
ARRA. It's a stimulus plan.
Okay.
America Recovery Reinvestment Act.
And we'll be using those to replace our street light bulbs with more energy efficient bulbs. And the energy savings will service that debt. And the second item, the renewable energy project, we have filed applications for clean renewable energy bonds, as well as we'll be going after some tax credits as well. And we've identified 8 projects where we're going to be putting solar panels up in some parking areas and 8 locations around the city. And those the energy generation from those panels will also service those CREBs as well.
So where does the money come from?
From energy savings, from a reduction in electric bills for the city.
Okay. And this money doesn't come from earnings, it comes from what then?
You're going
to save enough electricity by doing this to get this money?
We're going to issue some bonds, and the bonds will be paid back from the energy savings from our electric bills. the savings on the electric bills will be more than enough to pay for the debt service on the bonds.
In other words, it's not coming from the general fund, which I think is really your question.
Okay, that's what I was concerned about.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
Approve item 22 with all conditions, please.
Thank you very much. Let's vote. Post. Motion carries. Item 31 is approval of award of agreement number 100014-LD, engineering services for new City Hall parking garage located at 400 and 500 South Main Street, Department of Public Works. Award recommended to Barker Droder Associates, LLC, $107,800 from the City Facilities Capital Projects Fund, and this is Award 3.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of questions. If somebody could explain why we're calling this the new City Hall parking garage. Is it just for the City Hall, the new City Hall, or is it multi-use for other events in the area? If somebody could explain that.
Thank you, Councilman Stavros. The garage facility on Main Street is primarily going to be providing parking for the Symphony Park area. We have a couple commitments in Symphony Park. We have a commitment to provide parking up to 1,200 spaces. I think our commitment is 1,200 spaces for the Smith Center Performing Arts Center. We also have a situation where the Cleveland Clinic Lou Ruvo facility is underparked. The parking garage that we're looking at building on 500 Main Street is about 600 spaces, and so in the course of looking at this, we have called it the City Hall parking garage, but the fact of the matter is this garage is going to go forward whether or not a City Hall is constructed or not because of our commitment to provide parking for the Symphony Park. This garage is contemplated to have a pedestrian bridge that'll span over the railroad tracks. We're working on that issue as I speak with the railroad, with the Union Pacific. And so this facility will be built regardless of City Hall, and we probably would more aptly name it 500 Main Street Garage. And so we'll be doing that name change in our records effective today.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, thank you. May I have a motion, please?
Yes, Your Honor. I move to follow staff's recommendation of approving item number 31 with all conditions, only we're going to rename it the Symphony Park and City Hall parking garage. Just kidding.
No, I understand. All right, let's vote, please. Post. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, item 40 is a hearing review for the vacant or abandoned buildings located at 901 West McWilliams Avenue, units 101 to 104, 106, 201 to 202, 205 to 206, 301 to 306, 401 to 406, 501 to 505, 601 to 606, 701 to 702, 704 to 706, 801 to 803, 806, 808 to 810, 902 to 904, 906 to 907, 1001 West McWilliams Avenue, 840 West Bonanza Road, and 920 West Bonanza Road. The property owner is Las Vegas Apartment Lenders, LLC, and this is in Ward 5.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Good morning.
Devin Smith, Manager of Neighborhood Response. This is a review of a case that had come before you before, and this was a status update for the Mayor and Council. The current owners of the property have hired a contractor to clean the property and board all units to the City of Las Vegas specifications, paint all boards to match. Currently, the contractor has completed all of the work on all of the units at Moulin Rouge site, as well as the Desert Breeze Apartments, both units 1 and 2. The pool has been filled in, and the trash and debris has been removed. The contractor has also completed the boarding of the open and accessible units at the Tree Line condominium site. Remove all overgrown dead vegetation and remove all trash and debris. And then I'm going to supply for the record a list of the previous things that we had asked them to do and the status of which ones have been done, which ones have not.
Very good. If you would hand that to Ms. Bridges.
The only thing that we are still waiting on is the structural review of the bell tower and the substandard designation through the City Attorney's Office.
Mayor, if you will,
Yes, Councilman
Mr.
Barlow.
Smith, I would prefer for you to read it into the record, if you will.
The whole report?
Um,
It's quite lengthy.
or possibly some of the bullet points from that, or
Okay.
as far as a summation.
The update is that we had asked them to get a structural review on the bell tower to make sure that the structural standard of that is safe and is not going to fall over. To date, we have not received that documentation. The pool, as I said, had been filled in. Tree line condominiums have been deemed to be substandard, and at some point, we believe that we're going to have to vacate those properties and deem them as substandard buildings due to the fact that several of the units are actually falling in on themselves. So we're awaiting some guidance from the city attorney's office on that so that we can move forward and actually deem those substandard and vacate those properties. The boarding has been done on all the units to city of Las Vegas specifications to prevent people from getting in and taking up housing in there. All the trash and debris has been removed, and security was ordered, and security is on site 24 hours a day, and we monitor that closely.
Thank you. Any other questions, Gail? Is that sufficient? All right, very good. Are there any other questions of Mr. Smith? Is the property owner present? All right. May I have a motion, Councilman Barlow?
Yes, prior to the motion, Mayor, Mr. Smith, I'm glad that you read that into the record because I wanted to make sure that we establish at least those key points in relation to this very important property that sits at the corner of Bonanza and 8th Street. For at least the last 2 years, we've been working with the previous property owner and now the current property owner in regards to addressing some of the immediate concerns at this location. And unfortunately, earlier this year, the Moulin Rouge property, of course, had a major fire. And with that, caused more blight at this location. And I wanted to make sure that we move forward with cleaning up the property because, as we all know, in this community, in this specific area, there's a number of homeless individuals who find this as a place to encamp and set up housing, and I didn't want that to take place specifically in this immediate area of the community. And so, with the current property owners working with us and having sealed up the facility and also providing security is something that I'm very pleased with, and I thank them for coming to the table and also excuse them at the same time for their absence here today, Mayor. I've been in communication with Neighborhood Services who informed me that they would be coming to the city within the next couple of weeks, and that being that they have addressed some of the major key points that Neighborhood Services through Dr. Hibler and her staff were able to address with them, as well as Heidi from the City Attorney's Office, who have worked very diligently, as well as Mrs. Smith, on this property. And I thank all of you for that. I told them they didn't have to show up today.
Okay, fair enough.
And so they'll come back before us. When do they do to come back before us, Mrs. Smith?
I believe it's the first meeting in October, if I'm correct.
Okay, the first meeting in October.
I believe so.
There was no need for them to show up here today.
Very good,
And
thank you.
we'll see them in October. So with that, I would like to move to follow staff's recommendation for approval of this item.
Thank you. Let's vote on that, please. Post? Motion carries. And at this time, Councilor Barlow, will you be kind enough to introduce the young lady who is sitting to your left?
Yes. My office, Mayor, I pride myself in opening up my office to young people who are interested in government. And as you all know, earlier this year, this spring, we had an intern from Bryn Mawr College, Deborah Deegan, who spent the spring with me. And now from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, I have Ariel Robinson, who will briefly introduce herself as well. Ariel?
Ms. Robinson?
Hello, thank you for having me. My name is Ariel Robinson, and I'm a student at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. I'm a political science major, and I'm a senior, and I'm looking forward to this fall semester with Councilman Barlow in his office, just learning the public service aspect of political science.
That's terrific. Well, we look forward to working with you on the 10th floor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Okay, item 42 is a public hearing to consider the report of expenses to recover costs for abatement of dangerous building demolition located at 308 Jackson Avenue in the amount of $7,007.85 and assess a maximum of $114,350 in daily civil penalties. The property owner is My Home Real Estate, Inc., care of J. Tanuri, and this is in Ward 5. It's a public hearing, which I now declare open. Mr.
Again,
Smith.
Mayor and Council, Devin Smith, Manager of Neighborhood Response. The purpose and background is that the condition of the property was a public hazard and an attractive nuisance. The Department of Neighborhood Services declared the property in violation and started legal notification. When no corrective action was taken nor an appeal filed, the Department of Neighborhood Services had Rapid Response Team conduct an emergency boarding on October 10, 2008. An asbestos survey was conducted on October 13 by CAMAIR, and on December 15, 2008, Level X Incorporated was hired to demolish the structures in compliance with Clark County regulations, remove refuse, waste, and no trespassing, no dumping, no vehicle signs on site. To date, there have been 5 inspections conducted at this location. The value of the property based on the sale date of June 2009 was $12,000. The recommendation is that the City Council approve the report of expenses to include $4,934 invoice for Level X Incorporated, $525 invoice for CAMAIR asbestos survey, and a $250 invoice for the City of Las Vegas Rapid Response Team services, in addition to other fees assessed for a total of $7,007.85, and consider assessing a maximum of $114,350 in daily civil penalties.
Thank you. Are there any questions of Mr. Smith? Is the property owner My Home Real Estate, Inc., or somebody representing J. Tanuri present today? All right, folks, a public hearing if anybody would like to be heard. I thought he left. I thought your brother left.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hodges, and 123 Sir David. About the public nuisance and abatement on these houses and properties, whatever. I know that y'all taking a beating, but that was happening even when times was good and times being a little rough. I know that that's an extra burden that you have to carry. So I'm hoping that some of these owners of these properties kind of show up, banks, private individuals, whoever, come up and clean up some of this stuff. It's their obligation to take care of their responsibilities. That's all I need to say. By the way, Mr. Barlow, happy father to you and your new baby and your wife and Mr. Mayor, whatever. And at the end, if I can last that long. End of the day, I'll be celebrating our Saturday coming home. My wife be celebrating our golden anniversary of 50 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you for letting me come to the meeting.
Congratulations. That's very nice.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Would anyone else like to be heard at this time? We'll close the public hearing then. Councilman Barlow?
Yes. Mr. Smith, have you been in contact with the bank at all or anyone in respect to this property? If so, please let me know what that conversation has been.
To my knowledge, we've had no response from the bank. We have just numerous return letters from all the bank, from everybody that we have sent notice out to. So as far as I know, we have not.
When you say return letters, what does that?
Because when we send notice out, we send them out certified mail, so that, and then we either get a response back that it's been accepted or it's been rejected. So we don't have anything that would lead us to believe that they've made any contact with us.
So the response we received back, were they responses that they were rejected or accepted?
They've just come back not accepted.
Okay. Okay. Then I would like to move to recover the abatement cost of $7,007.85 and assess a maximum penalty of $50,000 civil penalties. That will be my motion at this time.
Thank you. Let's vote on that, please. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 43 is a public hearing to consider the report of expenses to recover costs for abatement of vacant or abandoned dangerous building located at 705 West Monroe Avenue in the amount of $2,416 and assess a maximum of $58,050 in daily civil penalties. The property owner is Michael Evans, and this is in Ward 5. It's a public hearing, which is now open. Mr. Smith?
Again, Mayor and Council, Devin Smith, Manager of Neighborhood Response. The purpose and background is the condition of the property was a public hazard and an attractive nuisance. The Department of Neighborhood Services declared the property in violation and started legal notification. When no corrective action was taken nor an appeal filed, the Department of Neighborhood Services hired American Demolition to secure all doors and windows to the City of Las Vegas specification, and remove all wind-blown trash and debris. To date, there have been 7 inspections conducted at this location. The value of the property based on the sale date of June 2009 was $37,500. The recommendation is that the City Council approve the report of expenses to include $800 for work completed by American Demolition and other fees for a total of $2,416, and consider assessing a maximum of $58,050 in daily civil penalties.
All right, thank you. Any questions of Mr. Smith? Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor. I'm
Good morning.
Sort of a fan, so it's kind of cool to be here. I'm actually kind of confused why I'm here before the council today. I'm Michael Evans, the owner of the property. As the city has stated, I became the owner of the property on 6/9. I have here, I don't know if it's for a camera or anything, but this is the auction that I went to where I bought the property. It shows right there that the property, the auction itself was on the 13th of April of this year. The work that was done on the property took place the day after the auction, so I was nowhere near the owner at that time. In addition to that, the fines and everything, I believe, I don't have the letter with me, we faxed it to the city. It took place over like a 6-month period or something. Again, all those fines and everything had nothing to do with myself or my wife. We were not the owners of the property. We had no responsibility toward the property at that time. So literally, approximately, well, the city said on 6/9, about 2 months later did I purchase the property, and, you know, I've pretty much been there, at least starting about 3 weeks ago, I've pretty much been there every day working 12-hour days, you know, working on the property, trying to bring the community up. And to me, it would just be an incredible injustice if I was found responsible for anything that took place prior to my ownership, when I've been working so hard to try to bring that, you know, environment, community, whatever you want to call it, up.
Let me ask Mr. Smith a question. The only time, and perhaps Mr. Jerbick, you could weigh in on this too, the only time that a lien would be placed on the property which would be subject to a title search is after we take action. Is that correct?
As soon as before we take action, we file a notice and order on the property, which basically just says that the city has these issues with the property. There's no monetary value assigned to it, but it does let.
Would that be in a title report?
It should.
It should.
This is one of the things I brought to your attention at the last month. These title companies, whether they are or not, we don't know, but that should be something that comes up in the title search, because when we go do searches on it, we can see all of the different things that are. Anything that's filed against the property comes up on the title search, whether it's a monetary value or not, but it was something on there that clouds the title.
Right.
Yes.
Right. You know, as the terms of the auction are, it's supposed to be clear title. I can get verification on that. At the moment, the company Ultra Escrow, there's a woman there, Melody Rose, I believe her name is doing some research on me to figure out what potentially could have gone wrong on her end. But, you know, of course, at this moment, she doesn't believe anything went wrong. She believes that the title search went through clean. And
see, our problem, and of course it's going to be up to Councilman Barlow's motion, but our problem is the city is out $2,416 at this point in time.
I understand that, Your Honor, but what I'm confused about is why action was not, and I've had a little experience outside of Las Vegas, although I love Las Vegas, it's where I tend to stay. But it's my impression that for some reason the cities tend to go a little bit easier on banks and don't pursue banks. I mean, for example, this was a blight, as you guys term it. This has been going on for, you know, 6 months, maybe longer, and yet I'm the owner for about, I don't know what time is it now, and here I am. You know what I mean? I'm before you, you know, facing these gigantic fees that are actually about 50% more than the cost of the actual property.
Right. Well, I appreciate that. Right now, what I'm concerned about is the $2,400 that the city's out. As far as your explanation, and I'm going to wait for Councilman Barlow's questions and his motion, seems very plausible to me, so I don't have a problem with your explanation.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What was the cost of the property?
The cost of the property was $37,500. It's been completely stripped of plumbing, completely stripped of electrical. Well, not completely, but, you know, there's a lot of damage there, a lot of light fixtures put back in. You know, there's feces, roaches, the whole 9 yards. And I've pretty much been knee-deep in it, you know, for 3 weeks.
And your intentions for the property?
My intentions of the property are to get it up to code and have it occupied and take care of that area. I mean, right now, when you're there working, you know, that area, as I'm sure you know, there's a lot of transients going through there. And almost on a daily basis, I'm having to fix what they're continually breaking. But it's my belief that when I've got some nice windows in there and new paint and some nice people living there, that we'll have a situation where that will deflect, you know, that kind of situation. There won't be those transients coming through there because there'll be, you know, nice families there that won't allow that, you know, basically. And I've got to get new AC. I mean, bottom line is I'm probably going to end up putting in about 50% of what I paid just to get it up and running and get some nice tenants in there. And I really just don't have it. I don't have an income of any other kind. I basically bought myself a job. You know, I basically bought the property so that I could be the landlord and maintenance man, and that's my job because I don't have any other job.
Right. Mr. Smith, last council meeting we ran into the same issue in regards to the title search, and I believe someone from the city attorney's office had chimed in as well in regards to this information not being a part of the title search. Were you able to find out anything from 2 weeks ago to shed some light on how, in fact, he would not know that these issues were a part of his title search? Is there a way for us to look to see if, in fact, there's anything a part of the title search today?
There's two things that we've done. The mayor asked if we would draft a letter to the title companies. That has been drafted for his approval, and we are putting a list together of all the title companies to send it out to. And we've been working with Brian Scott from the city attorney's office to maybe look at some different things we could do to cloudy the title even more. But by law, after the meeting, I talked to a gentleman, I can't recall his last name, but he is with the Board of Realtors, as well as with the title companies. He represents them, and he confirmed to me that the title company should be revealing this information to the property owners.
If the title company is not revealing this information, is that a violation on their part? Is that a crime in any way, not to reveal information that's on the title report?
That's something I couldn't answer. He led me to believe that it's something they're doing that they shouldn't be doing, that they should reveal to the property owners that there is something on the title, because they're buying these things under the assumption that there is a clear title.
Correct.
But again, it's also up to the property owner who's buying a piece of property to do their due diligence and see if the title isn't that clear.
Well, as an individual purchasing the property, we depend on the title search to tell us whether or not that's a clean property or not, and before we move forward with the actual purchase of the property. And if the title company sends back a clean title report, that's a green light, in my opinion, to someone purchasing the property.
Then it becomes a civil issue between you and the title company if, in fact, it's not a clean title.
Councilman, that's why I want to get that letter out to these title companies as soon as possible, put them on notice that we have a problem here, and we don't want innocent people to be harmed as a result of their failure to communicate these things to their particular clients. This is a little different for me. I'd like to be educated, Mr. Evans. When you buy at a public auction, do they make a representation to you that the property is free and clear of any liens?
Yes. In fact, if you go to auction.com, the website for REDC, or this particular representation of that organization, it says right on there that you will be provided clear title. And talking to Ultra Escrow, having gotten this letter about a week and a half ago, you know, I talked to her and said, you know, do I have clear title? She's like, as far as I know, you do. And I said, has this happened before? Because my wife called and she said, this has happened a lot, as you spoke of last meeting. And she said, you know, well, it hasn't happened to me a lot. I'll look into it. You know, just fax me over what you got, and I'll start digging. So that's pretty much where we are. I'm not a lawyer. I plan to go to UNLV law at some point, but my experience in other states is that unless there's an actual financial amount attached, then it wouldn't really count as a defective title. That's
I wouldn't argue with that. I would tend to agree with you. But Councilman, what's your desire?
This is what I'm looking to do. Mr. Evans, the city of Las Vegas right now has a hard cost of $2,416 that came from our general fund. And we have assessed this property due to non-compliance of $58,000. and daily civil penalties. What I'm going to do is erase the $58,050 civil penalty, and I'm going to ask that this property return $2,416 back to the city in our hard costs, being that we had our staff to go out and address this property. Now, I will say this. I do apologize to you, being that from what you shared with me, I believe you that you had no knowledge of this, and I ask that you continue to follow up in regards to the title, the clean title that you were informed you had. However, the city of Las Vegas has been addressing this home for quite some time, and I do need to look out for the taxpayers' dollars and make sure that our services has been rendered at this property. You just happen to purchase it at a cross point, and I'm going to assess the $2,416 on this property.
Councilman, now the terms of that $2,400, for example, right now, I almost have enough to get everything up and running. Literally, I'm $1,000 shy of being able to get the basic windows and the basic air conditioners, that kind of thing. What's the term of that kind of thing?
Well, let me share this with you. This is a lien. So the lien will basically be on the property.
Oh, okay.
And if you're not looking to sell the property anytime soon, we won't recoup the money until the property is sold.
What about interest?
Mr. Smith, is there any interest on the 2416?
There is, but it's very, very minor.
Such as what?
That I couldn't honestly answer you with the interest.
Okay, would you follow up with the gentleman and as well as me, because I would like to know that for future reference as well.
My question was actually interest going forward. Is there a rate that, would the $2,400 basically stay that, or is there a standard rate?
There'll be an interest on top of that from this point forward, but we'll get you the specific amount. But in the meantime, this is a public hearing. Somebody else wants to be heard, and then I'd like to make a suggestion to you.
And also stick around, because I would like to make sure that you have my contact information in my office. I would like to speak to you further.
Right, this public hearing.
Thank you.
Well, this is a good one, and I'm glad you asked, but anytime you buy property at an auction, if it's a tax sale or something of that nature, your title companies and your banks or whoever else, it's kind of like in the middle of the road. But this man got this place at an auction, and somebody's guilty, even for the $2,500, whatever that he's got to pay. Someone out there dropped the ball. So somebody need to go after to make sure that this poor fella. I feel, well, so what? And you say even a lien against it, you won't get your money to way down the road. He's hurting, y'all hurting, and somebody dropped the ball. You need to find out who dropped the ball, okay, from this day forward. Find out what's going on with these properties. An auction and a tax lien sale is in a ballpark of its own. This man got some protection. He can come out there. You need to go out there and try to come back to who you really need to go out. And Mr. Barlow, I know all 5 of these things in your ward. That's pitiful. It really is, but it ain't your fault, that particular area is kind of run down, okay? And good luck to you, and I hope you get it all fixed up. I hope this whole city and our whole state move up. We all got to look forward to better times, okay? But this right now is really a nuisance, and the man is responsible. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Anybody else like to be heard at the public hearing? All right, Mr. Evans? Before we vote, I would like you to avail yourself of the opinion of our city attorney. I'd like you to get together with them, because it would appear to me that somebody, using Mr. Hodges' phrase, dropped the ball along here. It doesn't appear that you did, and they may be liable to you for failing to provide you with the information. So I'd like to get to the bottom of it, because this is the beginning. Last meeting was the beginning. This is a continuation of the last meeting. We're going to have these issues, unfortunately, for a long time to come, and we better find out what we do in these instances, because a lot of people are going to be buying these at auction, a lot of buy them out of foreclosure, and there's going to be this interim period here that the title insurance should address those issues. So I'd like to get that letter out to the title companies as soon as possible, if you get it up to my office.
I believe it has been delivered to your office for your approval.
Do you have any idea when?
It was delivered up there this week.
This week? That would be yesterday?
Yesterday or Monday.
All right, I haven't seen it, but I want to get it out as soon as possible. I'll check on that during the noon break. All right, thank you. There's been a motion. Let's vote, please. Post. Motion carries. Good luck to you. Item 44 is a public hearing to consider the report of expenses to recover costs for abatement of vacant or abandoned dangerous building located at 2204 Fair Avenue in the amount of $4,694.35 and assess a maximum of $50,550 in daily civil penalties. The property owner's trustee, Clark County Treasurer, care of Kelly D. Smith, and this is in Ward 5. Mr. Smith?
Again, Mayor and Council, Devin Smith, Manager of Neighborhood Response. The purpose and background is that the condition of the property was a public hazard and an attractive nuisance. The Department of Neighborhood Services declared the property in violation and started legal notification. When no corrective action was taken or an appeal filed, the Department of Neighborhood Services hired WA Construction, LLC, to board all openings to the City of Las Vegas specifications, reboard openings not properly boarded, remove all refuse and waste, high weeds, dead bushes and trees, and vehicles and vehicle parts, dilapidated shade covers from rear patio, refuse and waste from the in-ground swimming pool, and fill in with clean dirt to grade level. To date, there have been 5 inspections conducted at this location. The value of the property based on the sale date of December 1985 was $6,500. The recommendation is that the City Council approve the report of expenses to include a $2,949 invoice for work completed by WA Construction, LLC, in addition to other fees assessed for a total of $4,694.35, and consider assessing a maximum of $50,550 in daily civil penalties. And just for the record, Your Honor, this property has gone into receivership of Clark County due to them not paying their property taxes. And the owner has contacted us and said that they need help. I don't know if that's going to be possible to help them with anything. Like I said, it appears that they haven't been paying their property tax, and that's why it's in the Clark County Treasurer's care.
And they say they need help. What type of help do they need?
That I don't know. We referred them over to one of our other departments to see what kind of help that they could possibly do. At this time, I don't. They just said they're elderly and they can't afford to do anything with it, and they live in California and they just need some type of help from the city. And I just told them that I would relay that to the council.
All right, I'm not sure. They're more than welcome to call my office or Councilman Barlow's office to tell us what kind of help they need, but right now that's a little too general for me. Any questions of Mr. Smith? All right, public hearing. Anyone like to be heard?
Hi, just again, boy, y'all having a rough day. The reason I come on this one, and this is the last one, it says the treasurer of the county. So that means the county is a government, civil entity. The city, y'all the government, you know, and the state government and the federal government and the whole thing. You got 4 levels of government in our country, whatever. What I'm only saying is that this is pitiful. And if it sounds, it's an old couple that's unable to do their thing. I know y'all, you can't put up with all sad stories or whatever. But this is terrible. You got 2 forms of government here. And that poor old couple, I just hope somebody, if I had the money, I'd do it myself. But the point is, this is pitiful. And so, Mr. Mayor, do the best you can. Since he said there's an old couple involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to be heard? All right, we'll close the public hearing. Councilman Barlow?
Yes, Mayor. This property here in Bonanza Village has been sitting like this for quite some time, and it has been a true blight in this community. Many residents have contacted my office in regards to doing something with it. We've made several attempts to get the property owner to do something, and nothing has been done. And so we had no other choice but to move in and take care of this problem. The exposed pool and the doors have been kicked in so much. I don't know what help to provide this family outside of them just selling it. I know we've sent many men out there and many man hours addressing this property, and I'm at my wit's end in regards to this specific property. So I'm going to move forward with Staff's recommendation of the $4,694.35 of the cost for abatement. And as far as the daily civil penalties, my motion would be for $20,000 daily civil penalties, opposed to the 50.
Before we vote, please. Mr. Smith, I'm just a little confused on who the actual property owner is. The agenda item reads that the trustee of Clark County Treasurer is the property owner. Are they the property owner, or did they just lien the property for the taxes that weren't paid?
Technically, the property has not been auctioned off, so it's still the property owner until...
Who is the property owner? I mean, Kelly. You said something, Kelly, I think, is a representative of the county, maybe. Yeah. I mean, you said something about the property owners seeking help.
Kelly D. Smith.
What's that?
Kelly D. Smith. That's what it comes up as, the property owner, until as of August 6th of this year is when the Clark County Treasurer took over as trustee. So it appears that he hasn't been paying his property taxes, and so at that point they take trustee of the property, and then they go into the auction or sale of the property at some point.
Is Mr. Jerbick here? No, he's not. Because, I mean, I'm not sure if it matters, Councilman. I'm going to support your motion, but I'm just really questioning who the actual owner is. Whether it is actually Clark County as a trustee, or is
that's the way it comes up, is that they're the trustee of the property, because as of this date it hasn't been auctioned. So the property owner could come in with his back taxes and pay it, and then take possession of the property again until such time it's auctioned.
Brad, my question was, I mean, I don't even know if you know the answer to this, is who's actually the owner of the property today? Is it the original owner, or is it Clark County who had or has the actual deed to the property?
I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to look at the paperwork to see.
All right. You've heard the councilman's motion. Let's vote on that, please. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Item 45 is a discussion and possible action regarding a change of business name and change of ownership for a tavern limited license from Take One Inc., doing business as Take One Inc., to Rafael Manzanares, doing business as Gato One Nightclub at 707 Fremont Street. This is in Ward 5. Mr. DiFiore.
Mayor, members of the council, today we're here to hear the application for Mr. Manzanares and Gato One. I believe he has brought with him, at my request, a certified court interpreter, and I'd like to acknowledge that before we move on.
All right, very good. Who is the interpreter?
Good morning, Mayor. My name is Gracia Feldman, and I will be the interpreter.
Very good. Are you a certified court interpreter?
Yes, I am.
Very good. So you'll be interpreting simultaneously with the comments of Mr. DiFiore and any questions that the council might have. Is that correct?
Yes, I will be.
Very good. Thank you. DiFiore?
Accompanying me today is Sergeant Lowe. In the event that you have any questions regarding the investigative report that's in your backup. Mr. Manzanares came forward earlier this year with his application for a tavern limited license for Gato One. And I'll try to move as slowly as I can so that she can follow along. When the application was submitted, there was some inconsistencies with what we would consider the applicant being Mr. Manzanares and some of the documentation that was provided to our office. Paralleling the application for this, we had a general business license application that was being submitted by an individual who was represented as Angelica Santiago. Ms. Santiago was going to be leasing the space from Mr. Manzanares for various activities, including dances and parties and so forth. These are general licenses which don't require a privilege license, suitability investigation, and council approval. During this time, Mr. Manzanares in his application packet had a site plan development that was submitted, but not with his name on it. It was with Ms. Santiago. During the course of the investigation, there was no reference made to Ms. Santiago as being a part of the application, but it was clear to us over the several months that she was actively involved in the operation, and when pressed, it was our understanding from Mr. Manzanares that she was just going to be helping him out, in his own words. The original lease, which was submitted with the name of Motel 6 Las Vegas LLC. This was found not to be a viable limited liability company filed with the Secretary of State's office. So we did have some concerns about the actual lease Mr. Manzanares submitted to our office. Additionally, there were, over the course of a couple of months, there were checks that were written on the Gato One nightclub account that were submitted to the city for various methods of payment on business licensing and I think on one parking issue. And those checks bounced and had to be reimbursed by Ms. Santiago. And the unusual thing about this is it was her signature on the checks for Gato One nightclub. When pressed, when questioned about this, Mr. Manzanares told myself that he did not authorize those checks to be submitted, was not aware that those had been submitted. However, when asked again, he said he did review his bank statements on a monthly basis. And in reviewing of these bank statements, he did not notice that these checks had been issued. I raised these concerns simply because it was learned later through the investigation that Ms. Santiago has a criminal record. I also learned later that one of the individuals that he employed as a consultant has had problems with city officials in South Lake Tahoe regarding two properties that around $200,000 had not been paid to city officials, and he was named as a primary suspect in those misappropriation of funds. Mr. Manzanares, in his background, does not have any history of owning a nightclub. He's been in the contracting work for a number of years until he recently resigned from the business that he was working for. I've met with Mr. Manzanares a couple of times, most recently as of yesterday. And as of yesterday, the lease that he has submitted is still what I consider to be an invalid lease, meaning that the entity on the lease has not registered with the Secretary of State's office. He has inconsistencies, again, with regard to funds for the business. He has shown that he has indicated that the floor plan for the site development, he was not aware of the fact that it was in his packet for the investigation and was not aware that Ms. Santiago's name was on that site plan development. He continued to say that she was not authorized on his account to issue checks, yet when he filed his police report eventually for embezzlement of funds from his account, he listed her in his police report as a co-worker slash partner. When asked about that, Mr. Manzanares stated that the Metro representative who took the report must have made a mistake. All of this leads me to believe that what we have here, even though he has no criminal record, we have a business that's come forward to the city for a privileged license, one that we consider to be the high utmost types of licenses that the city issues. And I believe that what we have is not Mr. Manzanares totally operating this business on his own, but having some help in operations of this business with individuals who have tainted records. As such, I cannot support a recommendation of approval of this license, so my recommendation will be for denial of this license.
All right, any questions of Mr. DiFiore? Mr. Manzanares, would you like to be heard?
Hay varias cosas que hasta ahorita yo me estoy enterando.
There are many things that I'm just finding out now.
Okay, una de ellas es, me está diciendo señor Jim, de que el consultante que me está ayudando a mí tiene antecedentes, no buenos antecedentes.
One of them is the consultant that is helping me had a criminal record. I didn't know.
So yo no sabía de eso hasta ahorita que ella lo dice, que lo dice.
I'm sorry, would you pull the microphone between the two of you?
Okay.
Pull it. There you go. Thank you. So we can hear you. Thank you.
Sí, la otra cosa es de que, Angélica Santiago hizo muchas cosas a mis espaldas,
Yes.
Cosas que yo no sabía.
There are many things that Angelica did on my, behind my back, things that I just didn't know.
Entonces, cuando Angélica desapareció, yo fui a chequear los papeles y encontré muchas cosas de que ella había estado ocultando de mí.
So when Angelica disappeared, I went and checked the records and paperwork, and I found out a lot of things that Angelica had been hiding from me.
Angélica tuvo un evento del 5 de mayo, lo hizo el 3 de mayo.
Angelica had an event on May 5th. No, she did it on May the 3rd.
En la Fremont Street.
On Fremont Street.
Okay. Después de este evento se empezaron a ver todos los problemas que estaban habiendo ya en el momento.
After this event, all these problems began to happen.
Después de que ya pasó todo esto, fue como un mes después, 2 meses, no me acuerdo, fue cuando Angélica desapareció.
About a month or 2 months later, this is when Angelica disappeared.
Se había pensado que Angélica quizás se había ido para México o simplemente estaba en otro estado.
We thought that Angelica had either gone to Mexico or maybe she had gone to another state.
Hasta que me hablaron de la oficina de la City Office de la oficina de la ciudad del parqueadero, de los parqueaderos.
It wasn't until somebody from the city office, from the parking office, parking enforcement city office, someone called me.
Me dijeron que fuera a identificar un cheque.
And I was told to go and identify a check.
Entonces ya miré ese cheque y lo reconocí que era de Angélica.
And I saw the check and I recognized it, that it belonged to Angelica.
Ya les expliqué lo que había pasado con Angélica y ahí fue donde yo me enteré. Ahí me dijeron que estaba en la cárcel en North Las Vegas.
And I explained to them what had happened with Angelica, and I was told that Angelica was in jail in North Las Vegas.
Desaparecieron varios cheques, me robó una cartera de cheques que después yo la encontré en la bolsa de ella.
Many checks disappeared. She stole a complete set of checks that later on I found them on her purse.
Entonces, después de eso, empezaron todos los problemas que había cuando yo ya la había descubierto a ella.
And after that, all the problems began to happen when I had already discovered what she had done to me.
Entonces, en el momento que desapareció, después de eso, empezaron a surgir los cheques que ella había escrito.
At the moment she disappeared, right after that is when all these checks that she had written began to appear.
Y ya fue cuando yo fui a la policía a hacer mi reporte.
This is when I went to the police to make my report.
Yo hablé con una persona, no hablaban en español, traté de hablar yo en inglés lo poco que yo podía.
I spoke to someone who didn't speak Spanish, so I tried to speak to them in the little English that I know.
Una de ellas me dijo que ahí no se hablaba español, esperé a otra.
One of them told me that they didn't speak Spanish, so I had to wait for someone else.
Ella tampoco habló español, pero ella me ayudó muy amable.
This person also didn't speak Spanish, but this person was very nice and she was able to help me.
Entonces fue lo que yo hablé ayer con el señor Jim DiFiore. Mi inglés no es muy bueno. En lo poco que yo me pude dar a entender con ella, quizás hubo la mala interpretación cuando le estoy diciendo a ella lo que viene que es socia.
And this is what I spoke to her, and this is what I spoke to Mr. DeFiore yesterday. And maybe because of my lack of understanding of English, maybe this is the misinterpretation, or this is what I said, this word about partner.
Acerca del Motel 6, yo hablé ayer con el señor, en la tarde, con el señor Darío Pini.
Regarding Motel 6, I spoke to Mr.
Darío Pini.
Yesterday afternoon.
Sí me dice que el Motel 6 no está registrado en Nevada como Motel 6.
And he did tell me that Motel 6 is not registered in Nevada as Motel 6.
Tiene el nombre anterior, es Days Inn.
And it's been registered as the previous name, that is Days Inn.
All right. Any questions of Mr. Manzanares? Yes, Councilor Wilson.
I actually have a question for Mr. DiFiore. One of the first things that this gentleman said was that he had heard these things, some of these things, for the first time today. This investigative report that we have in our package, was he provided a copy of it in Spanish? Was it read to him in Spanish? Was he made aware of the contents of this report before today's hearing?
I believe he was notified by letter from the Metropolitan Police Department that his report had been completed and it was available for him to get a copy of or review it. To clarify, the only thing, he made an assertion that that I represented that Mr. Smith, his consultant, had a criminal record. I don't believe in my earlier comments I stated that. I believe I used the word tainted past. The criminal record belongs to the Angelica Santiago. So we have discussed this twice now here in the last 3 weeks.
Mr. Manzanares, did you review a 3-page written report prepared by the police department concerning today's hearing?
El reporte que yo hice a la policía.
The report that I made to the police.
I'm given a report, and it's about 3 pages. And most of what Mr. DiFiore talked about was from this report. Mr. DiFiore said that you were notified by mail that a report had been prepared and that you could come pick it up.
Councilman, I believe that letter is right on the back page of the report.
Are you aware of a letter sent to you and a report being prepared?
Okay, me dieron una copia del reporte que yo hice.
Okay, I was given a copy of the report that I filed.
Not a report that you filed, a report prepared by the police department about today's hearing.
No.
One of the problems, officer.
Sergeant Glenn Lowe of Metro Special Investigations. I was in a meeting with Mr. Manzanares and Jim DiFiore 3 weeks ago, and I told him that he could pick up the copy of the report, even though he gets a letter, everyone gets a letter, that he can pick up the copy of the report. He asked me where, I told him where he did the interviews, which is our location 3 weeks ago. We had a Spanish interpreter there at this meeting, and she explained to him where he's got to go Monday through Friday, business hours, and that was 3 weeks ago. So he had that letter plus me telling him to go pick up his report. If he didn't do it, then, but we do not give those in Spanish. It's English. When they come get the report, it's in English. So we don't do a Spanish report.
But 3 weeks or so ago, you told him personally
yes.
through an interpreter that this report was available to him.
Yes.
And you also sent a copy of it to him, did you not?
Well, the letter says they can come pick up a copy at our location,
Yeah,
and then
okay.
3 weeks ago I told him again in person, in case he didn't get the letter, in person, that this is where you come get the report, you need to get it before the hearing.
Got it. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor?
Councilman Russell.
Thank you. Before you,
Una cosa.
Okay, just one thing, please.
Okay, el reporte del que están hablando es el que hizo el señor
The report that you're talking about, it's the one made by
el señor el investigador
by the investigator.
That would be Detective Montoya.
Montoya, ya.
Detective Montoya.
¿Es ese del reporte que hablan?
Is that the one you're talking
Yes.
about?
Ya no me llegó la carta, pero sí fui cuando él me dijo, así fui a recoger el...
I didn't get the letter, but when he told me, I did go to pick it up.
Because everything that Mr. DiFiore talked about today is in this report. So when you say you heard it for the first time today, it was in a report that you picked up weeks ago.
Sí,
Okay.
yo lo recogí.
Okay, thank you. The concern I had was to make sure that these folks that come before us have ample notice of what information is going to be presented. And at first, the gentleman said he'd never seen that, or he hadn't heard this information, but now it appears that he has. So I'm satisfied. Thank you.
Councilman Ross?
Just real quick, are these letters sent certified return receipt by any chance? And I don't see any date on this letter either.
No, they're not sent. They're just sent in regular mail, and they get it well in advance of any hearings that they have to go to.
Okay.
And there should be a date on the top of it.
Yeah.
If not, it must be a mistake. But
Okay.
normally there's a date when the report's finished, and then it gets sent to them in the mail once the report is taken over by our senior Les, and they put it into the system. But yeah, the letter gets sent to them at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Councilman Barlow?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Mr. Manzanares, have you operated an establishment like this before?
I was going to write you a note, Wando.
No.
Okay, and are you doing this on your own? Do you have partners, investors? How do you plan to purchase and operate the facility? By what means of finances?
Okay. Cuando yo llegué al lugar fue cuando yo conocí a Angélica.
When I arrived at the place, this is when I met Angelica.
Entonces ella me propuso este negocio.
She proposed this business to me.
Entonces ella supuestamente me iba a apoyar, me iba a ayudar porque ella tenía mucha experiencia en todo esto.
She was going to support me because she had a lot of experience with this.
Okay, entonces lo que ella me propuso fue de que ella tenía o iba a sacar ya las licencias de fiestas privadas y eventos, todo eso.
So what she proposed is that she was going to get the licenses for private parties and events and things like that.
Entonces ella lo que me propuso que la dejara hacer sus eventos ahí en el lugar.
So what she proposed to me is for me to allow her to do her events right there at the place.
Entonces ella me iba a estar apoyando a mí para hablar o como intérprete con las demás personas y todo eso.
And so she was going to be supporting me to be my spokesman, to be interpreting for me right there at the place.
Cuando ella desapareció,
When she disappeared,
yo me sentí solo
I
porque
felt-
yo no tengo experiencia en todo esto.
I felt all alone because I have no experience at all in all of this.
Yo conocía a Lico Smith
I then met Lico Smith
porque él trabajaba para el señor Darío Tini.
because he was then working for Mr. Darío Pini.
Entonces yo le pedí ayuda a él, entonces él vino para acá para ayudarme a echar a andar todo el negocio.
So then he came over here to help me start the business.
Entonces a la fecha yo no sé los antecedentes de él, yo no sé su vida, o sea, ni en mi mente pasaba, no imaginaba que él tenía esos problemas.
So to date, I don't know any of his backgrounds. I don't know if he had any previous problems.
So it sounds like you've gotten into a business relationship with two individuals who have issues in their background.
Yeah, así es.
Yeah, it seems so.
Okay. Then this is going to be my recommendation. I'm going to move to follow staff's recommendation for denial of this application, and highly recommend or suggest that you find out about individuals which you get involved with to do business, so that it doesn't taint your ability to be an effective business person. And I'm going to deny the request based on lack of experience, specifically in an area of my ward that we're looking to redevelop, and I don't want you to have any issues or problems in the future. I want you to be successful. So at this time, until you have the appropriate experience or team to assist you and develop your business, I would like to hear back from you in the future. But today, I'm not going forward with the approval. I'm going to deny this application. That'll be my motion, Mayor.
All right, let's vote, please. Opposed? Motion carries.
And good luck to you.
Thank you.
Miss Interpreter, you should tell him that the reason that he's being turned down now is because, at least Councilman Barlow's impression, and I agree with it, is he really doesn't have any experience in this business. So what Councilman Barlow is asking him to do is to get somebody with experience who doesn't have any problems as far as law enforcement is concerned to assist him, and then I think Councilman Barlow would be more favorably disposed next time around.
That's correct. That's accurate, Mayor.
Thank you.
That's correct.
Okay.
Very good.
Si consigo a alguien que me apoye en
Tell
todo
him come back
esto.
forward.
You have to come into the mic.
Okay. Si consigo a una persona que me apoye en esto, ¿con quién necesito hablar?
If I need someone, if I find someone who can be a good consultant to me and who can support me, who do I need to talk
Tell him
to?
to call my office. I'll be happy to meet with him.
Dígale que por favor llame a la oficina
But
de él,
basically
que
what he
él se le
needs,
puede ayudar.
I think Metro would probably agree, Mr. DeFiore, he needs a key employee, somebody who knows the business going in there, and then he would avoid
Yeah,
these
tell him to
problems.
meet with Mr. DeFiore prior to meeting with me.
All right.
He would need a key employee. He certainly would need to be more responsible on his part to make sure that who he's getting involved in business
Well,
with.
that's what I'm saying, but the key employee would be somebody who doesn't have any problem as far as law enforcement, and that's the kind of person he should be looking for.
That's correct.
Okay, fair enough. All right, good luck, sir.
Yeah, and someone will be bringing you one of my cards also.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 46, discussion and possible action regarding a 60-day review of a temporary hypnotherapy license for Janet Linda Lactaeon at 800 North Rainbow Boulevard, Suite 170, and this is in Ward 1. Are you going to cover this one?
Mayor, members of council, Carol Meyer, Finance and Business Services. This application is before you today for a 60-day review. The applicant came forward in the July 1st meeting, and Councilwoman Tarkanian was absent at the time, so Mayor Pro Tem, your recommendation was a 60-day temporary license with a 60-day review. We haven't had any concerns with this applicant. Her background investigation was returned from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department with no areas of concern, and my recommendation would be a permanent license.
All right, are there any questions of Ms. Meyer?
Yes, no. Yes, no.
All right. Based on the yes, no, do you have a motion?
I move to follow staff's recommendation for approval of this item, please.
All right,
With all
let's vote.
conditions.
Let's vote, please. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 48 is discussion and possible action regarding an appeal of work card denial for Gregory Floyd, doing business as Zeta's Ice Cream at 2850 East Charleston Boulevard. Mr. Floyd here? Why don't you step up, sir? Mr. DeFiore?
Mayor, members of the council.
This is in Ward 3, by the way.
Today, Mr. Floyd is here to seek appeal on his work card denial. And before I give a recommendation, I'd like to call to the mayor and council's attention that on an appeal, 6.86150 states that in addition to written briefs, exhibits, or other documentation submitted on behalf of the applicant's appeal, the applicant or his or her legal counsel shall attend, make an opening statement, and be prepared to make oral arguments to the city council in support of the appeal. Any criminal history of the applicant relied on by Metro as a basis for denial, suspension or revocation, or the applicant's work card and referenced by the applicant during his or her appeal shall become part of the public record and may be openly discussed during the appeal hearing. So just so that council knows, and Mr. Floyd recognizes that as well. By the way, this is his wife, and she operates a ice cream truck business known as Zeta's Ice Cream, so it is a husband and wife operation. I believe she represented to me, and she can correct me on this, that she's in the school district, and this is basically a second job for her, but she would like the opportunity for Mr. Floyd, her husband, to drive the vehicle, which requires a work card, and that's why we're here today.
All right, very good. Yes, sir, I'd be happy to hear from you.
My name is Gregory Floyd, and I'm here about a work card, you know. I know I have a past criminal record, which the gentleman has stated, you know, but I've been 10 years, you know, trouble-free. I'm trying to put my kids through college, you know, and I feel this is an opportunity, you know, with my wife and us working together, I can do this, you know. I mean, I done did a lot of odd jobs, and I'm saving up money up to try to, you know, better my life. I can go on and on about, you know, my past record, but, you know, I made some mistakes when I was young, and I don't want my kids to be accounted for. You know, I'm trying to give them a, you know, in other words, you'd say a shot at the title, you know, society.
Let me ask you this. We have backup material here, which I'm sure you've seen, have you not?
Pardon?
This would be the Metro report.
Correct.
Dated August 4th, 2009.
2009?
Yes.
August 4th, 2009.
About a month ago.
Okay.
He's been furnished with that, has he not?
I don't know if he has obtained a copy of the report, has reviewed the report.
No, I haven't.
But I'm sure he's well aware of the
Well, I don't understand it. I practiced criminal law actively for 35 years, and I'll be darned if I can make heads or tails out of the report that I received. I don't know whether he's been convicted of these crimes. It says registered. I don't know what registered means. I really don't. Maybe Councilman Wilson, he's been practicing more recently than myself. Do you have any idea what that means?
Well, I would have to assume that if he's registered, that means that he was registered as a felon for that particular crime.
Was he convicted of all these crimes?
One of them he wasn't.
Yes, you have to register when you get convicted.
One of them he wasn't, Mayor.
And basically, the report just states his criminal history is what Metro's report is. There's nothing beyond the facts of his criminal history, which he can look at it, but he should know his own criminal history.
That's correct.
One of them.
So the last offense for which you were convicted is about 10 years ago. Is that correct? Did you do any time? Has he been on probation?
Some of these are doubled up. Like Northtown, you registered for Northtown.
Right.
And they.
So in other words, when it says registered here, you're registering as an ex-felon?
I registered in Northtown. I registered in the city. Because I stayed both times. But some of them, not all conviction, all of them the same conviction. That's what I'm saying. Some of them is doubled up because I had to register both places.
On the 1999 conviction, did you do any time?
I did 11 months.
11 months where?
Indian Springs.
Were you placed on supervised release afterwards or parole?
Yes.
Did you?
Completed.
Were you honorably discharged?
Yes, sir.
When?
About 4 months right after that.
Yes.
I could ask one
Sure.
question. In 1999, how old were you?
57 now this year, so I was 47.
So you're 47 years old, and you were convicted for trafficking and possession of controlled substance.
Not convicted of both of those, no, sir.
Yeah, you were registered for trafficking, controlled substance, and possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell, and then you want to drive an ice cream truck with kids around?
Correct.
I have a lot of concern about that.
Ma'am, did you want to be heard?
Well, he has a lot of concerns, but it's been 10 years, and I've been with him 10 years, and I don't have any concerns.
Mayor Goodman?
Yes.
Mayor, please.
Sure.
Couple questions. Are you proposing to be in this business together? Or is it just for him, he's going to drive the ice cream truck?
Actually, it was for me. I don't work in the summer. I drive a school bus. And so it's basically a job that I could do in the summer because my kids are at home. But there is times that he could go get ice cream for me, or maybe actually he could take the truck, down the street. It was just to help me out.
Okay, but this work card appeal is
But
for your
then-
husband, Mr. Floyd.
Right.
So my question, I understand what you're saying. You're saying that you need another job during the summertime, and that's fine. But you're seeking permission for your husband to have a work card so that he can help you in this
Exactly.
business as the driver of the ice cream truck. Is that right?
But not at all times.
I can't hear you. Please speak up.
Not at all times.
Well, at some times he'd be driving the
Sometimes, yes.
truck. Would you be
Right.
in the truck too?
With him at
Yes.
times.
So sometimes he'd be alone.
Yes, when I got the license, they made me say that he couldn't be any part of it at all.
Okay.
Okay, which I understand, but if he wants to be a part of it, he needs this work permit.
Sure, and that's what I'm asking you about. So
It's not for him to run the whole business, no.
if he were to be granted this work card, it would allow him to theoretically drive this ice cream truck full-time. And part of that business is stopping in residential locations and selling ice cream to whomever wants to come up to your truck and buy ice cream.
Right.
Is that what we're talking about here? Mr. Jerbick, we have work cards for certain types of employment, and that's because the city has in the past determined that certain types of activity must be regulated. It's not just ice cream drivers, it's a number, 20, 30, 40 professions. Would you articulate for us why we require a work card for an ice cream truck driver?
The ice cream truck drivers obviously employ people in positions that have contact with children, sometimes positions of trust. We want to know the background of individuals for exactly what Councilman Anthony just mentioned, to make sure that we don't employ individuals or allow people to drive these trucks that could potentially sell drugs to kids. We wouldn't want a registered sex offender to drive an ice cream truck. These individuals, again, have access to people in an unregulated environment, parks and
So
places like
what you
that.
talked about is you talked about potentially registered sex offenders, and I've got the report in front of me which lists your convictions, and none of them have anything to do with sex offenses involving children. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. I can understand a concern about selling ice cream to kids because I imagine a lot of kids come up to ice cream trucks. I used to when I was a kid. Phil was my ice cream truck driver back in Los Angeles. But none of your past convictions have anything to do with children.
Correct.
Isn't that right?
Correct.
Okay. I mean, some of these convictions are pretty serious. The most serious one goes back 40 years, 1968 in California, an involuntary manslaughter charge. But that was 40 years ago, is that right?
Correct.
Now, you've been in Nevada for about 30 years, almost,
Just about.
and you certainly made your mark the first 10 or 20 years you were here. But since 1999, you haven't been convicted of a felony, certainly. Is that right?
Correct.
What about, have you been arrested since 1999?
No, I haven't.
Okay, now I think the mayor asked you in 1999 if you did some jail time for that conviction. You said yes, is that right?
Right.
You went to Nevada State Prison?
Correct.
When did you get out?
In 2000.
2000. So you've been out of prison for 9 years. Were you on parole for a while?
4 months.
Okay.
No-
Did you have any?
No problem.
No problems. Officer, you run a scope on a person, is that right, as part of your history? I mean, do you show that he's been arrest-free for almost 9 years?
Yes. He's
Okay.
been arrested, yeah, he hasn't had arrest since that charge in the report, yes.
So no arrest
No
for 9
arrest.
years?
No.
Okay, I'm just going to articulate how I feel about this. And Councilman Anthony, I respect your position, and this is not an easy one, because I want to protect children and I care about things as well, but I also believe in a person's payment of a debt to society. I mean, you've paid debts for your wrongs, certainly, but you've been 9 years trouble-free. You're married?
Correct.
You've been married for how long?
For 9 years.
9 years. You want to go into business with your current wife. Sure. Do you understand our concerns? You're going to be
Yes, sir.
driving an ice cream truck, probably selling ice cream to kids, and theoretically, we're concerned that you might do something wrong when you're selling ice cream to kids. Do you understand our concern? But I have to give a person another chance. I want people to work in this community. I have a difficult time, respectfully, officer, with some of these work card reasons. So I'm going to support granting you your appeal. I don't know if it's going to be in the majority or not.
And
What-
excuse me, and I'm saying maybe a probational period or something, just to, see how I'm doing, to check in, if I'm granted, I would be glad to do that.
All right, I just wanted to state how I feel about this and clarify some things for the record. Thanks.
Mayor?
Yes, Councilman.
Mr. Floyd, I can't support you getting a work card here, and my reason being is the question I asked. If you were 18 years old and you got convicted of something like this, I could understand it was a kind of a misspent youth type of an issue, but when you're 47, I mean, that's way into your adult years, and you're convicted of something like this. I'm just not going to take a chance that, I don't know if you've been rehabilitated or not, but I'm not going to take a chance with an ice cream truck. So I'm sure there's other jobs out there you can find, but I just, I can't support giving you a work card in this particular position, just like our city attorney mentioned the parameters that surround it. So I just want to state my case. Thank you.
All right,
Mayor.
any other comments?
Mayor, may I
Yes.
make a comment?
Sure.
This came up 2 weeks ago, as you recall, and it was obeyed because Mr. Floyd did not show up. At that presentation 2 weeks ago, I did reference the fact that our code goes back, or allows the city and Metro to go back 10 years on certain crimes. His record faces that 10-year limitation. Sex offenders and sex offenses do not face any limitation on time. The unfortunate thing, I think, in his case is that he went for his work card. He made his appeal in June. His last offense was in July of 1999. So he did not reach that 10-year limitation at that point that he filed his appeal. Obviously, in September, we're past that 10-year point. So I want to make that aware to the council as a part of their decision-making today.
Mayor Goodman?
Question?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
So you mean then, if we would have been hearing this a couple months from now, I mean, if he would have applied a couple months later, then we wouldn't be able to look at this record?
There would have been no grounds to deny him at that point based upon that 10-year limitation.
Thank you.
Mayor Goodman, just for clarification, he applied for this work card in June? Is that what
I
you said?
believe it was prior to that. It may have been late May or early part of June.
Okay, well, in other words, he applied for it about 9 years and 11 months after his latest conviction.
Correct.
If he had waited, and he doesn't know, you weren't aware of this rule, were you, sir? If he had come to us in July or August, in other words, a month or two later, there would have been no denial of the work card by Metro. Metro would have granted him the work card, and we wouldn't be here.
There would have been no grounds for denial of the work card at that point.
Isn't that what I just said?
Um,
Metro would not have denied his work card.
Well, accordingly, yes.
Okay.
Pretty interesting. You have any comments, Mr. Jervik?
Don't need any.
Has to.
If we, Mayor Goodman, if this council chooses to deny his appeal and he doesn't get a work card, can he reapply tomorrow? And the 10-year rule would allow him to be granted a work card?
I suppose technically, yes. But I'm willing to make a
Did you hear that,
recommendation.
Mr. Floyd?
We didn't know.
Well, you're not expected to know that. We're just...
Mayor Goodman?
Yes.
For Mr. DeFiore, are we in a position to do a temporary, not a temporary, but a review, a 6-month review, a year review, just to see how things are going?
Yes, I have a recommendation I am prepared to make to the city council on this.
Okay.
I'd like to hear that.
Okay. I would recommend a temporary work card be issued business-specific. I know a lot of times we say site-specific, but since this is a mobile operation, I'll make a reference to its business-specific, non-transferable to any other business, that if Zeta's Ice Cream, Jody Zeta, if she discontinues her business operation, the temporary work card was to be surrendered to the Metropolitan Police Department Special Investigations, and then a 6-month review.
All right. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, before I make my motion, Your Honor, even if we did deny him today and he came back here in 3 months and reapplied, we could still render a decision based upon his record, whether Metro says we approve this, you know, it comes through with approval, we can still look at the record even in 10 years. So, and if I want to vote against it, I can still vote against it, right?
I'm going to defer to Mr. Jervik. I don't have the code in front of me, but I do believe, paraphrased, it says that in considering a criminal history of the applicant, the Metropolitan Police Department and the city business licensing may go back 10 years from the date that the application was made for the work card, and in certain offenses, all related with the exception of sexual offenses, that 10 year rule applies. Sexual offenses, there's no time limit at all. So in considering an application in the future, we have to look at it and say, is the last offense a 10-year, beyond 10 years? And if it is, I don't believe we can consider the criminal record.
I'm looking it up right now.
And while Brad is looking that up, just for another point of clarification, if in fact he were to come 3 months from now, this appeal or application wouldn't come before this council. That would be something done at an administrative level, correct?
If he's denied today and he submits an application for a work card, that would be handled administratively at that point. Again, deferring to Mr. Jervik, there doesn't seem to be sufficient grounds if he would come forward, a month from now or the next day.
Okay, when did this law, I'm sorry, Ricky, when did this law change?
In August of 2008.
So what I'm saying is then in Metro's report, there wouldn't be any arrests now. There won't be any arrests showing us 10 years back.
Correct.
Okay. Well, with that, I do believe in second chances, and I also believe that there are other jobs that people can get where they don't need work cards. But I have a real amount of fairness in me also. And again, I understand what Councilman Anthony's talking about, 47 years old and getting involved in drugs. I won't get into why you did anything like that. I don't understand it. But I do want to protect the kids, like Councilman Wolfson also stated. And I feel like being fair, we need to follow staff's recommendation for approval with, job specific with the 60-day review, and hopefully we'll be able to come back then and give you a permanent license.
Is it 60 days or 6 months?
6 months, I'm sorry. 6 months.
Would that
Six months, yes.
Would that also include that if she surrenders her license, that he would have to surrender his work card?
But I would just ask Mrs. Floyd to please help us.
Yes.
And I'll tell you this, that if this motion passes and your husband fouls up, that goes to your license, and you're out of business. You know that?
Yes.
All right, let's vote. Post. Motion carries. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 49 is discussion and possible action regarding an appeal of work card denial for Manuel Porras, doing business as Pogo's Tavern at 2103 North Decatur Boulevard. Mr. DeFiore.
Mayor, members of the council, the applicant today is here with his legal representation to present his version and ask for the council to consider his appeal.
Very good. Mr. Porras.
Christopher Hanley, Moran Law Firm, 630 South 4th Street, for the applicant Manuel Porras, who's present. He's ready to answer any of your questions. I'll make this very brief so you can get to speak with Mr. Porras. Mr. Porras is here today simply so he can attempt to possibly get a temporary work card. As you know, it's real difficult right now to find a job. He's done so, lined up employment with an employer who will vouch for him in a field that he feels he's very good at as a bartender. He understands what he's done in the past is wrong. He's made some poor decisions, but he's made his restitution for that and is looking to move on with his life. And he's willing to do whatever it takes to be compliant with the council's decision. And he simply asks for, if it's possible, 6-month or even 90-day temporary license.
And Mr. Stipawani, his employer, apparently is aware of the record and nonetheless desires to employ him. Is that correct?
We do have a letter on record dated July 7th from
Bill Stipawani.
Bill Stipawani, right, that does support his employment.
All right, thank you. Mr. Porras, what do you have to say?
I'm not here to downplay or to say that I haven't done wrong. I have, and I've learned, and I carry with it every day, good and bad. The good part being my decision making, and my thought process is a lot more scrutinized, knowing that every decision I make does have good or bad effects. And bad things that it still carries with me is my limitation of employment. I'm just here asking for an opportunity to get back into the field in which I excel and just to become an upstanding citizen of this great city of ours that I once was and want to be again.
All right, thank you, Mr. Porras. Any questions of Mr. Porras?
Mayor Goodman?
Yes.
Mr. Porras, were you on probation in the last couple of years?
I haven't been on probation since 2005.
Okay, out of California or Nevada?
Yes, California.
Okay, your brushes with the law here in Nevada, none of them resulted in you being on formal probation?
No, I went ahead and wanted to clear everything up. They gave me the option, but I did not want that. I wanted to go ahead and clear everything up and walk out of there with a clean slate that way.
What I'm talking about is here in Nevada, you've had a couple of arrests, a conviction or two, but none of them resulted in you being on formal probation with the Nevada Department of Parole and Probation?
Correct.
Okay. And you've got an issue with a woman in Santa Barbara, TPO.
Yes, that was my ex-fiancée, 7 years, yeah.
She's there and you're here?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, this is Councilman Barlow.
Yes, Mayor. Is your employer here today?
No, sir, he's not.
He's not. And you do understand why you're here today, and I understand your reasoning as to wanting to be employed again and doing the right thing, and I support that specifically. In this day and age, not too many folks have an opportunity to have an employer who has a lot of people to choose from that don't have a colorful past, such as yourself, to choose from for a position like this. And for that, I commend your employer, and you should also, in regards to standing behind you and supporting you. And that was one of the major selling points for me, was the fact that your employer submitted a letter on your behalf. And so with that, what I would like to do is approve your work card with a 6-month review. And in addition to that, I would like to make this a site-specific work card, meaning that you can only work at this location, and should you change employers or you are terminated for whatever reason, you would, I would make an additional condition for you to turn in your work card should a separation occur. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that would be my motion at this time.
Very good. Let's vote, please.
And good luck to you.
Thank you.
Post. Motion carries. Good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Item 50 is R-68-2009, public hearing and possible action regarding a resolution authorizing installment purchase agreement amount not to exceed $5,845,921 for the purpose of financing energy conservation projects and authorizing the officer of the city to execute documents related thereto and forward materials to the Department of Taxation. This is a public hearing which I now declare open. Mr. Vincent.
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, Mark Vincent, Chief Financial Officer for the city. Before we have some public comment, I thought it would obviously be helpful to talk a little bit about what it is you have in front of you today, and particularly since there was some interest in item 22 today, which relates to this project. As you know, the city has a sustainability initiative, and we've got many things going on. One of these or elements is upgrading of some street lamp lighting with some more energy conservation fixtures. Part of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, or ARRA, created a program called Qualified Energy Conservation Bonds, and that program allows us to actually, through an allocation process, it allocates a certain amount of bonds that the city can sell under this program. Our allocation is just over $5.8 million, and that's what you have in front of you today. And essentially what happens is at the time, about 2 weeks before we close these bonds, the federal government will, through a credit process, will allow us to issue these bonds at an interest rate somewhere probably around 1.5% to 2% interest, which is, as you know, is is probably a third of what we would get in another market. These particular lighting fixtures, we anticipate are going to save probably conservatively $750,000 to $1 million a year in energy savings. So light fixtures will be anywhere, depending upon what kind of wattage, anywhere from 30 to 40% more energy efficient. We're targeting about 18,000 street lights. We have about 52,000 street lights in our inventory. We'll get to about 30% or maybe a third of those to upgrade those. And the average savings per light fixture per year will be about $58 to $73 per year. So if you multiply that by 18,000 light fixtures, you're going to get about $1 million, $1.3 million. The debt service in the bonds, which will, as I mentioned, which will be set about 2 weeks before closing. Closing is scheduled right now for about November 24th. We have a DMC hearing next month and next Friday that will be going to the Debt Management Committee. But the debt service will be anywhere from $320,000 a year to maybe as much as $650,000 a year. So you can see that the debt service is well within the projected energy savings. Obviously, staff recommends approval, but it's a public hearing.
Very good. Public hearing, folks, if anyone would like to be heard.
Juanita Clark, Charleston Neighborhood Preservation. This is very vague to our neighborhood group. I guess you can still hear me, right? And so therefore, what we put down here was that we wanted a no vote on this because it obligates a diminishing number of taxpayers in our city to pay this $5,845,000 and $921 for the reasons that we were concerned about. It seemed like it was very vague and there were things not open. It sort of seemed as though it went around in circles for us, and so we have only 2 questions. Do you usually have more than one financial advisor? Because that was the things. There's a letter in there from one financial advisor only.
I'd like to answer that.
No, we typically use one financial advisor. I think there's maybe 3 in the Southern Nevada area, but we usually pick one of the 3. I think we have contracts, blanket order contracts with 2 of the financial advisors in the home.
So then advice from 3 was not sought, and then 1 selected to be put with the material?
We typically, as I say, we typically pick one of the 3.
And then before we could do this, Ms. Clark, we have to go before the Debt Management Commission.
Oh, okay.
And they review it thoroughly. We can't issue a bond without having their approval.
All right, thank you. Yes, we were just, okay. And the other one was the amount of money. And even though it said exceed with that, we got the impression that maybe this would be issued more times, that there would be multiple times that this would be used.
No, I think it's
or put forward.
one time, and it's a one-time bond issuance, as I understand it.
That's correct.
So then this will not be done, if this is approved today, then there wouldn't be a multiple times that this
No,
same thing.
if we needed more bonding, we'd have to make it a public record and have the hearing all over again on the other issue of whether a bond is appropriate.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I should mention, Mayor, that other cities, and Henderson was the most recent one that I recall about several months ago, came to the Debt Management Committee on the day that we were there on another issue, and they had a similar program in the neighborhood of $20 million. At that time, they were not using, because this program did not exist, they weren't using qualified energy conservation bonds, so while they got a good rate, it was significantly higher than this rate that we're going to get to the ERA program. So, that penciled out as a cost savings to them because of the energy savings. We expect that our energy savings could be twice what the debt service is going to be on these bonds.
Very good.
And so this also then is based on stimulus as the previous item.
That's
Thank
correct.
you very much.
Very good.
And congratulations, Councilman Barlow and your wife.
Thank you.
Wonderful time.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to be heard? It's a public hearing, folks. All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Mr. Vincent, could you explain to us the difference between item 59 and 22 on this?
59 and 22?
50 and 22.
22 One of the things that happens with us is we have to put together a 5-year capital improvement plan, and when we put that plan together, we have to file it with the state. And when we go forward with the state to get approval for any debt obligations such as this one of the things the state says is, where is it in your capital improvement plan? The state allows us to only modify a capital improvement plan once in a 12-month period. And when we put the budget together last May, we had not considered this, any of our sustainability programs didn't make it into our budget. So item 22 modifies our capital improvement plan to identify not only these qualified energy credit bonds, but also some clean renewable energy bonds that we're contemplating issuing later in the year. That's the solar project that we talked about. And so we had to modify our capital improvement plan. That's what item 22 does, because we only get one shot at it. And so that later on, when we bring forward a resolution for you to consider the solar program, much like this light fixture program, you'll have an opportunity then to review the facts as we present to you, decide whether you want to go forward, and that way we get both covered. So that's what
Thank you
that
very much,
purpose
Mark.
was.
I thought that should be on the record also.
Thank you.
I move to follow staff's recommendation of this item with all conditions, please.
Thanks. Let's vote, please. Post. Motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 51 is an abeyance item. Citizens Priority Advisory Committee, CPAC, Brian Craig Pearson, term expires 2009. Councilman Anthony has the opportunity to reappoint Mr. Pearson or appoint a new member. Councilman Anthony.
Mayor Pro Tem, with your permission, I'd like to invite John Anderson up to the podium.
Please, Mr. Anderson, come forward.
For those that don't know, the Citizen Priority Advisory Committees, it's an extremely important committee under the direction of Mark Vinson, and this is a group of citizens in our community that review our budget, make recommendations, take a look at how we're spending money. So it's an extremely important position. Obviously, it needs somebody with a budget accounting type background. It's my honor to nominate John Anderson to this committee. He's got 20 years of experience in financial planning and estate planning and investments and finances, so I think he's going to be a credit to the committee, and just want to thank you for volunteering your time to do this, John.
Hey, you got it. My honor, Councilman Anthony.
Thank you.
When I was approached by the councilman in regard to this position, as you know, I made my initial phone calls and really thought it through. I thought, especially now with the current economic climate, that it was time to really hold true to my promise to the councilman that if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to give me a call. And again, at such a time as this, it is my honor to serve the city as I can, and I am fully willing to do that. And again, I am just honored by the appointment.
Thank you, and my motion is to nominate John Anderson.
Thank you very much. With that said, I'm also going to put on the record that we certainly thank Mr. Pearson for the time he spent representing the city of Las Vegas also. You've heard the motion. Please cast your vote. Post.
Thanks, John.
Good luck to you. Item 52 is Neon Museum Board of Trustees. Patrick Duffy, Class 3 trustee. His term expires September 15th of 2009. The procedure is for us to appoint an individual, or we can get a new one, or we can reappoint Mr. Duffy. Does anyone have a recommendation? At this time, then,
Mayor,
yes.
Mayor Goodman?
Yes.
I would like to ask that Ms. Nancy Diener comes to the microphone, please.
Diener?
Hello there. Mayor, if you don't mind, I just wanted to get a understanding from Ms. Diener as far as how well of a job Mr. Duffy has done, and if Mr. Duffy is interested in being reappointed, and what your thoughts are.
Patrick Duffy, Nancy Diener, Manager of the Office of Cultural Affairs. Patrick Duffy's done a great job on the Neon Museum Board. He's actually serving as vice chair of the board, and he does wish to be reappointed.
Mayor, then hearing that, I would like to recommend that we reappoint Mr. Duffy back to the Neon Museum Board of Trustees. That would
Very
be my
good.
motion.
That's the motion. Let's vote. Post.
Thank you, Ms. Dina.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 53 is Civil Service Board of Trustees. The term of Johan Alicio expires September the 19th of 2009. Does anybody have a recommendation?
You know, I would like to listen to abeyance. I have somebody in mind. I'd like to talk to them before I make the appointment, so if we could, like to listen to abeyance until our next meeting
Okay.
of September 16th.
All right, the motion to obey till 9/16. Let's vote on that, please. Post. Motion carries. Item 54, discussion and possible action to ratify the appointment of Haywood Carter as the interim tenant commissioner for the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority. At this time, I would move to ratify the appointment of Mr. Carter as an interim tenant commissioner. Let's vote, please. Post. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 55 is Bill number 2009-33, revises the zoning regulations governing small wind energy systems. Councilman Barlow, do you wish to have it read?
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Councilman. Bill number 2009-33, First Amendment of an ordinance to revise the zoning regulations governing small and wind energy systems and provide for other related matters. Your Honor, this has been before recommending committee and was held and was subject to some discussion. There has been a proposed Second Amendment that's been distributed to the clerk and to the members of council. Mr. Steed is with us here today, and I think he is going to go through the proposed Second Amendment.
Very good. Mr. Steed?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Certainly.
The committee, I don't know if you...
Thank goodness.
The committee identified some items that they wanted fixed up. Councilman Ross appeared at the committee meeting and requested some changes that we put together in a First Amendment, and subsequent to that, we decided that it was more complicated than that, and so we've put before you a proposed Second Amendment. What it does, different from previous versions, that it expands the number of districts in which a small wind energy system can be established. Residential, all but U, RCL, RH, and MHP, and all the commercial and industrial other than NS and CD. If you have a parcel in any of those districts that's less than 20,000 square feet, you may not have that system approved as a conditional use. It automatically goes to a special use permit. If you otherwise meet the conditional use provisions, including the acreage and others that are set forth, you can have those items, you can have those systems approved in all the zones other than PR and O, which would still require the special use permit. Many of the conditions that are set forth in the conditional use table are not subject to change. Those that relate to structure, integrity, licensing, regulations. As it relates to setbacks and height, you can ask for those standards to be waived, and you do that by means of a special use permit. For the PR and O zones, you can ask for those also to be waived in your special use permit application. We also included as Section 4 of the ordinance a provision that addresses some concerns about whether the establishment of a small wind energy system would be an improper expansion of a non-conforming use. If someone has a use out there that was okay when it was established, but by virtue of previous or subsequent ordinance changes is no longer allowed, our general rule is you can't expand. But we are saying if you want to put in a small wind energy system and you can get it approved either by means of a conditional use or a special use permit, that's a permissible expansion. That's my presentation. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Very good. Any questions to Mr. Steed? Councilman Ross.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to say, first, let me thank everybody for their patience in getting us here, and Mr. Steve, you especially, because you've heard the challenges that I've been going through with this. But this is truly a step in the right direction for the City of Las Vegas regarding the sustainability initiative. I think we are giving homeowners, business owners, property owners the ability to have these renewable energy systems on their properties to help them with their energy costs and help them do their part to have a sustainable city, a green city. Certainly, Mr. Steed talked about property sizes, and I wanted in this ordinance the ability of each council member to make that decision, whether the system worked in their neighborhood or their business, wherever it may be. But we also made it flexible enough for businesses that already have that square footage and already have those setbacks that they can go ahead and move forward with the wind generation system. So I want to thank everybody that participated in getting us to where we're at today, and I think we're on the right track.
Very good. Okay, Councilman Barlow, do you have a motion?
I would like to move to follow my colleague's recommendation. Councilman Ross, thank you so very much for bringing this forward, and I agree with you that this most definitely is a step in the right direction, specifically as we move to conserve energy and produce much cleaner air in our environment. So my recommendation will be for approval of this item, subject to all conditions.
Thank you. Let's vote.
That would be the Second Amendment?
Second Amendment.
Yes, the Second Amendment.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 56 is Bill number 2009-34, adopts the Land Use and Rural Neighborhoods Preservation element of Las Vegas 2020 Master Plan. Councilman Barlow, do you wish to have this read?
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Bill number 2009-34, in order to adopt the Land Use and Rural Neighborhoods Preservation element of the Las Vegas 2020 Master Plan and provide for other related matters.
And Councilman, do you have a motion?
Move for approval.
Let's vote. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 57 is Bill number 2009-35, adopts the economic element of the Las Vegas 2020 Master Plan. Councilman, do you wish to have it read?
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Bill number 29-35, in order to adopt the economic element of Las Vegas 2020 Master Plan and provide for other related matters.
And Councilman Barlow, your motion.
Move for approval.
Let's vote. Opposed, please. Motion carries. Item 58 is Bill number 2009-36, creates the City of Las Vegas Nevada Tourism Improvement District for parcels at 4th Street and Stewart Avenue, area bounded by Stewart Avenue, Casino Center Boulevard, US 95 and 4th Street. And Councilman Barlow, do you wish to have it read?
Prior to it being read, Mr. Arndt, would you like to approach the dais, if you will?
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman, Mayor. Mayor, members of council, if you could indulge me, I'd just like to make a few brief remarks before reading and taking the vote on the final ordinance. This has been a long process, so I think it might benefit the public and your constituents to hear where we're at and the significance of this item. We've gone through a lengthy process. You've held several meetings as well as a public hearing on May 6th. This just shows the process that we've used over the past several months, and we have gotten approval from all the third-party agencies. This is the area that we're talking about for approving the Tourism Improvement District. It's the area bounded by Casino Center, Stewart, US 515, and 4th Street. And this also shows the area which includes the historic Postmodern Museum. The public benefits, the significance of this and why it's important is that it supports a public-private partnership to attract $247 million in new development. There's a positive fiscal benefit to various agencies within the state of $5.4 million. It creates a revenue stream of $3.1 million to help fund public improvements, public parking, as well as streetscape improvements along Stewart and potentially Ogden Avenue. And it also supports the city's investment in the Las Vegas Museum of Organized Crime and Law Enforcement in having additional revenue to support the parking and streetscape, which would help that project as well. This shows the revenues coming into the state Only a portion of the revenues are being used by the Tourism Improvement District, about $3.1 million annually, and that is going to be invested back into the district. And then this is really an important slide. It shows the benefit of the TID project and the revenues that would be attributed to the project with the project versus without the project. Currently today, the property encompassed by the TID district area is not generating any tax revenue to the city or the other tax jurisdictions in the state. And because of that, with the revenues and expenses being $23 million and $17.6 million respectively, there's a net positive fiscal benefit of $5.4 million to various jurisdictions within the state. So I appreciate Councilman Barlow having the opportunity to just make a few remarks on the record before you have the reading and take the vote on the item. Be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Are there any questions of Mr. Orange at this time? All right, Councilman, do you wish to have the bill read?
Thank you, Mayor.
Very good.
Thank you. Bill number 2009-36, an ordinance creating the City of Las Vegas, Nevada Tourism Improvement District, 4th Street and Stewart Avenue, and providing for other matters relating thereto.
Thank you. Councilman, your motion, please.
Move for approval.
Let's vote, please. Post. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 59 is Bill number 2009-37, clarifies and updates the zoning and parking standards relative to retail bakeries. Councilman Barlow, do you wish to have it read?
Thank you, Mayor.
Very good.
Thank you, Councilman. Bill number 29-37, an ordinance to clarify and update the zoning and parking standards relative to retail bakeries and to provide for other related matters.
Thank you. And Councilman, your motion, please.
Move for approval.
Thank you. Let's vote. Post. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 60, which is Bill 2009-38, is eligible for adoption at a later meeting, so there are no new bills at this meeting. We're in recess until 1 p.m. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The afternoon session of the City Council is now called to order. Item 61 is any items from the afternoon session that the council, staff, and/or the applicant wish to be stricken or held in abeyance to a future meeting may be brought forward and acted upon at this time. Mayor Pro Tem.
Your Honor, this looks like the whole agenda. Item 68 is RQR 34682, applicant Clear Channel Outdoor LLC, owner Bright Path LLC, 820 South Bellevue Boulevard. The applicants request that to be held in advance until our September 16, 2009 meeting. Items 72 and 73, GPA 33746 and rezoning 33747, applicant owner, excuse me please, Daniel Shannon, 1.08 acres at the southeast corner of Florian Avenue and Tomsic Way. The applicants requested to withdraw that without prejudice. Item 74, 75, and 66 is a variance, 34008. Special use permit 34006, and site development review 34010. Applicant American West Petroleum, owner FAM Capital LLC, 0.58 acres on the southwest corner of Sahara Avenue and Valley View Boulevard. The applicants request that to be held in advance until our September 16, 2009 meeting. Item 78 is a special use permit 34016. Applicant Clear Wireless LLC, owner LXT 4 LLC, approximately 560 feet north of Meadows Lane and approximately 530 feet east of Decatur Boulevard. The applicants request that to be held in advance until our September 16, 2009 meeting. Item 79 is a review of condition 35306, applicant Harmony 2 LLC, owner Harmony 2 LLC and Farm Wallapai LLC, 10.52 acres on the east side of Tonganese Avenue and Wallapai Way. Councilman Ross requests that be held in advance until our September 16, 2009 meeting. Are there any other items we need to report at this time?
Did you want to be heard, sir?
Thank you, Your Honor. During citizen participation, I may need more than 3 minutes.
Okay, we'll see how we're doing here. Thanks. All right.
Hearing no other items, Your Honor, make a motion to bring all these items forward, take the appropriate action, please.
Very good. Let's vote on that, please. Post. Motion carries. Thank you. Items 62 through 66 are on the consent agenda. They're considered to be routine. They're recommended for approval by the Department of Planning and Development. May I have a motion, please, to approve the consent agenda items 62 through 66, please?
Yes, Your Honor, no questions or comments, and we move to approve those items with all conditions, please.
Thank you. Let's vote, please. Post. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 67 Well, I think I'm just going to call 67. There's no sense going through this. 67 is DIR 35636. The applicant is the Board of Regents of the Nevada System of Higher Education. Request for a 6-month extension of the development agreement for the College of Southern Nevada on approximately 41.17 acres at the northwest corner of Elkhorn Road and Grand Montecito Parkway. This is in Ward 6. Public hearing, if anyone would like to be heard. All right.
Mayor, could I, just one comment?
Certainly.
I was on the Board of Regents when this particular item was approved back then, so I'm going to abstain from this item because of that, just out of an abundance of caution.
Very good. Okay, would anyone like to be heard on this item? Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to say this. Anything concerning education, I'm in favor of. Whatever they need, give them a break, whatever. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else like to be heard? All right, we'll close the public hearing. And Councilman Ross, could I have a motion, please?
I move to follow staff's recommendation for approval, sir.
Thank you. Let's vote, please. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Items 69, 70, and 71. 69 is GPA 34610, request to amend a portion of the Southwest Sector Plan of the General Plan from DR, Desert Rural Density Residential, to PF, Public Facilities. 70 is ZON 34611, request for a rezoning from RE Residence Estates to CV Civic. And 71 is SDR 34612, request for a site development plan review for an existing 321-foot radio, TV, or microwave communication tower and the installation of one antenna at a height of 300 feet on an existing tower. The applicant is Flow TV, Inc., and the owner is the United States of America. The project is located on the north side of Del Rey Avenue, approximately 900 feet west of Monte Carlo Way. The Planning Commission recommends denial. The staff recommends approval for these items, and these items are in Ward 2. They're public hearings, which are now declared open. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Your Honor, members of the council. I'm Bob Gronauer, 3800 Howard Hughes Parkway. I'm here representing Flow TV, which is a subsidiary of Quailcomm. The request that I'm going to be making here today, Your Honor, and members of council, is to hold this matter for 30 days, these 3 items. And the rationale of that is because not because I just came into this case to learn the history of what has happened on this application, but I think because of the uniqueness of the different players that are involved when you're dealing with a leaseholder, you're dealing with a BLM, you're dealing with an applicant and some neighbors in the area, along with some of the uniqueness of some of the land use issues that we're dealing with of an existing legal non-conforming use on the property, that we'd like to take the time to not only sit with the neighbors and try to work out a win-win situation here, but we feel that a 30-day opportunity would give us the opportunity to meet that goal to make it a win-win situation if we can. And if we're not able to do so, obviously we're here in 30 days to discuss the matter at that point in time. So with respect to the council here, we would be asking for a 30-day continuance, and I can answer any other questions that you may have.
All right, Mr. Gronauer.
I'd like to object to that, Your Honor.
Well, I'm going to give you the opportunity, certainly. Any questions of Mr. Gronauer? All right, Councilman Wilson, do you have any problem with these folks being heard?
No, and if I may ask for your indulgence just for a moment and the indulgence of this board. Mr. Gronauer, and this is for the benefit of the people in the audience, because I know there's 6 or 8 of you folks that are here on this issue, as well as people that are maybe watching on television. Mr. Gronauer contacted my office yesterday and came in with his client and just got on the case, I believe. Is that right, Mr. Gronauer?
Yes.
And my first reaction is that out of a professional courtesy, when an applicant who's been before us 1 or 2 times finally feels she needs some legal representation out of a professional courtesy, I would grant you that courtesy. But Mr. Gronauer convinced me as well that he wants just one chance to be able to speak with you folks to see if there's a middle ground. And also he said something that was interesting, is that he plans to contact the BLM, because the BLM is kind of a silent yet very important player in this whole thing. They own the land. You know, if the city owned the land or if I had a private party owning the land, it's a lot easier to work with. But I've got, you know, up there in the clouds somewhere, the BLM, and Mr. Gronauer has offered to at least be in contact with them to see what they're willing to do, if anything. I will tell you folks, and I'm looking at you folks directly and you, sir, that nothing is going to happen on this matter without another public hearing. And if this council so chooses upon my motion to continue it over a couple of meetings, that will be the actual public hearing. Mr. Gronauer has offered to meet with you folks to hear your concerns directly. And I know it's kind of a pain in the neck, because here we go again, and it's your valuable time, and I understand that, but I just want to give them an opportunity. I will tell you that I met with 2 or 3 of you folks. I'm looking at you in the eye. Jarina, I have your paperwork right here, and I am going to ask you, with the mayor's permission, to come forward for just a couple of minutes to talk about a few things. But my inclination is to give you a chance, Mr. Gronauer, to meet with the neighbors, meet with the BLM, and see what you can come back with. So that's what I'd like to say, Mayor. I would like 2 or 3 or 4 of the folks that would like to speak on the matter, understanding that I am going to move to obey this for a couple of meetings, just to give them an opportunity.
Do you want to tell them that if they speak today, they will not speak at the later meeting, or will they have the opportunity to speak at both meetings?
I would like them to have the opportunity to speak at both meetings.
All right, fair enough. That's your desire, and we'll see to it. All I can do is ask you to make it brief, recognizing that we're going to be having another hearing on this in a couple of weeks.
Well, I'd like to know how we're going to meet with these
Please-
people and have a discussion.
Please give us your name.
My name is Benjamin Bruck, B-R-U-K, and I live at 1508 10 Palms Court. It's right in that area where that tenor is located.
I can answer
And
that.
I'm asking, how are we going to meet with this gentleman?
Councilor Wilson will answer that.
Mr. Gronauer will take your name and phone number right now, the names and phone numbers of everybody. I would hope that he's got enough business cards to go around, and he's going to arrange a meeting.
I'll yield to the rest of the people that are here if they agree to that, but I definitely do not. We had enough time spent already on this last time we were here. It was postponed today again, and now all of a sudden he pops up. I don't accept it.
That's fair.
Okay?
Sure.
I'll yield the floor.
Very good.
Thank you. Todd Farlow, 240 North 19th Street. At the end of the discussion at the Planning Commission, it was brought up that this property has never been on the tax rolls. If this goes through, is this land then going to go on the tax rolls? We want some money out of this. Thank you.
Okay, next, please.
Hi, my name is Jarina Guerretto, and I live at 1500 10 Palms Court. And Councilman Wolfson, I have 40-some petitions signed for you.
And if I may, Jarina, and I appreciate you coming down today, I'm the one that asked you to circulate a petition because I wanted, you and your husband, I believe, came into my office and you stated what the neighbors felt, and I thought, well, let's get it in writing, and you went to the trouble and the work to do that, and I appreciate that. I was given 2 petitions, though. One of the petitions talks about the acceptance of a zoning change if improvements can be made, and then the other one says willing to accept a zoning change if improvements can be made according to the attached landscape design. Did you prepare 1 or 2 of these petitions?
I prepared both of them.
Okay. Because the one about the landscape design, we didn't talk about that at all in our meeting.
We did not, and after our meeting with you, several of the homeowners around there had suggested that they would like to see some sort of landscaping instead of the fence that we had talked about with you. I had never seen, from where I come from, a chain link fence with the slats going through it. And until somebody pulled this picture up where I could see where it can cause more graffiti and because I thought it was going to be a plain chain link fence. So I was very confused with this too. It's not, what we talked about either with the slats. So yeah, there's a lot of chiefs and I'm an Indian, so.
A lot of what?
Chiefs.
Okay, and that's fine. I mean, the neighbors working together and somewhat independent at the same time.
Somebody put it very well, that we're a bunch of custom homes, so we all have our own ideas. We're not cookie cutter.
Okay. You do have the signed petitions?
I do have the signed petitions for you.
Are the folks that signed the petitions, did they sign petition number 1 that doesn't talk about a landscape design, or petition number 2 that does talk about a landscape design?
Petition number 2, but they all voted against it. They want the zoning to stay the same no
Right.
matter what we do.
Right. Okay, with the mayor's permission, if she could make this part of the record?
Certainly, if you'd hand that to the clerk.
Thank you.
Bridges, you'll make that part of our record, please. Okay, is that it?
Unless
Anybody
anybody else wants to speak.
Sir?
Name's Hodges, and I'm going to be very brief. You did say that the BLM is involved, right? The Bureau of Land Management? Well, if you're dealing with the government, you got a real Donnybrook. So what I'm trying to say now, okay, all y'all fuss all you want, unless via you know, the government, right, kind of write off on it, then y'all just filing back and forth, and the mayor and them, they already know that. So tell the people the name of the game. If the government's involved, this is a Donnybrook thing.
Anybody else, please?
Hi, Mayor, council members. My name is Mary Green. I live at 1870 Blackwater Court, and I'm also president of the Neighborhood Alliance. And I speak for the Neighborhood Alliance in that the consensus is that we would feel far more secure to maintain our desert rural zoning, especially in these tough economic times. We don't know 7 to 10 years from now what is going to be available, but a buffer of desert zoning is a great leap to something way down the line that's called public facility. That's a climb up.
And I will tell you, Mayor Goodman,
Thank you.
with your permission, I read you loud and clear. Mr. Anspaugh, Jarena, I'm hearing you and reading you loud and clear, but I want to give Mr. Gronauer an opportunity. He's an experienced land use lawyer. Maybe he can come up with something that'll satisfy us both. I'm not sure. I don't know it all, but I want to give him the opportunity. There's no harm in it. I mean, it is a little out of your time, and I apologize for that, but
Worth it. Thank you.
I'm listening to you.
Thank you. Anybody else? We only get one bite at the apple, sir. Okay, 2 bites at the apple.
I had a whole speech here to rehearse before this, but I was just objecting to the fact that he was trying to delay the motion here.
He's not.
The zoning, as far as I'm concerned, is for the minority, which is the antenna people.
Yeah.
We are for the majority, and we say we don't want it changed.
That's what the hearing's going to be about.
Okay, so if we're willing to have a discussion with them, I have no objection to that. But I have much more to say about it than what I just
And
said.
you'll have the opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
With your permission, Mayor Goodman, Mr. Gronauer, I think you're listening to them carefully. They're willing to meet with you. They'd like to meet with you. I would encourage you to make contact with the BLM. You know where I'm coming from.
Yes.
Okay.
I understand, and I just asked to have the opportunity with the neighbors, understand their concerns. I think I have a proposal that maybe we can discuss with them. So that's what I'd like to do.
Okay. My motion is to continue this 2 meetings,
October the 7th.
October the 7th, and that is my motion.
All right, let's vote, please. Post? Yes. Good. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. And Councilwoman Tarkanian is excused for this afternoon as well. All right. Just whipping along here. 77 is VAR 34662. It's a variance, public hearing. The applicant owner is Rebecca Carr. Request for variance to allow an 11-foot front yard setback where 20 feet is required, and a 4-foot encroachment for an architectural feature, a roof eaves, where 2 feet is the maximum permitted for an existing carport, 1.15 acres at 521 Burns Avenue, a single-family residential zone in Ward 5. The staff recommends denial. The Planning Commission recommends approval, subject to conditions. It's a public hearing, which I now declare open. Is the applicant here? Is the applicant Rebecca Carr here? Councilor Barlow, what's your... Oh, okay. Are you here on behalf of the applicant? Yes. Okay. Please give us your name and address.
Tom Scott, 5416 Alabaster Court, Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm the contractor on the job.
Very good. Be happy to hear from you, sir.
Yes, we've went to the building department, and we've been approved for architectural and structural. We're just waiting to get approved on the variance.
All right. And are there any questions of the gentleman? Folks, it's a public hearing. If you'd like to be heard on this, be happy to hear from you. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing then. Councilman Barlow?
Yes. The applicant, was she here earlier?
Yes, she was at the commission meeting. She wasn't here earlier today, no.
Oh, she was at Planning Commission?
She was at Planning Commission meeting, yes.
Okay. Did you bring the renderings for the site plan?
I didn't bring the site plan, no.
Okay. I had an opportunity to see the setup. What needs to take place is your permits, your appropriate permits, as well as your finals from planning and development for the proposed variance. Do you already have that in the process?
Yes.
Okay. Then I will move for approval of this item, subject to those conditions. And Margot, if I'm missing anything, please go ahead and put those items on the record so that we're clear in regards to this variance.
If I may, Mayor.
Certainly.
I would recommend that we add a condition that the final inspection shall be requested from Building and Safety within 30 days.
Is that agreeable, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Then
So-
that would be my motion at this time.
Very good, with that condition. Let's vote, please. Post? Didn't show up. All right, motion carries. Thank you. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 80, Madam Clerk, would you please set the public hearing dates and appeals from the City Planning Commission meetings and dangerous buildings or nuisance litter abatements?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now we'll go to citizens' participation, item number 81. Citizens' participation. Public comment under this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the City Council. No subject may be acted upon by the City Council until that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please give us your name, and we'll put the 3-minute timer on.
My name is Anthony Hodge. I live 123 Sedalia. I want to say that 50 years ago, come Saturday, the calendar seemed to roll around that way. We were married on a Saturday, September the 5th, Summit County in Akron, Ohio. Would you believe 50 years later, it fell on the same day me and the wife were talking about it. By the way, Mr. Mayor, she said she planned on putting me out because I owe her 50 years back wages. I can't afford to pay her. We don't have a dog house anymore. The dog's dead. And the horse, I don't have a horse anymore. Don't have a stable. You know, what I'm trying to say, I'm in trouble. You know what I'm saying? I have to sleep in the park if I can find a spot, whatever. And all jokes aside, Mr. Mayor, I'm glad to be here. But Mr. Anthony, I got a word for you. And I hope you take it with a grain of salt because he used to be a captain of the police department. You're an elected city councilman now. And I know you're a policeman. The two, they don't quite mix. And sometimes I think you interject your police into your council meeting situation. You need to. When Michael McDonald became on the city council, I went right after that young man, and I respect him to this day. By the way, you double dipping it, whether you like it or not. You get a job, civil service job from the city as a city councilman, and you get a retired check from the police department as a civil service check. It's still civil service, okay, how you look at it. What I'm trying to say is, sir, I like you. I respect you. But when you're on the council, deal with them on a council kind of basis. You interject a lot. And I guess if you was out there on a fool somewhere and you saw me out, me and you would have a Donnybrook, right? Probably beat me up, throw me off a canyon, whatever. What I'm trying to say, sir, at 78, I ain't afraid of nothing. I ain't anyone. The truth is, I'm telling you like it is, lighten up a bit. Be a good councilman. When you're dealing council, do council. Leave the police out of it. Thank you. Now, let's get back to the wife. Mr. Mayor, 3 years ago, you gave me and my wife a nice little get-together, 40th anniversary. So I won't ask you anything this time or not like that. But the objective, I am very proud. But I guess y'all know for 50 years, I've been fighting for our country as a great and free nation that it is. And by the way, the great J. Edgar Hoover, would you believe? I even went across his list. What I'm trying to say, Nixon, just name them all. Johnson, name them all. You know what I'm saying? I've been in their realm. You get it? And I dealt with one underworld man, and he was the brother, and his name was Ralph Capone, Al Capone's brother. I met him, so that's the only underworld person I ever met. I'm just letting you know, I get around the block. You know that. So the point is, I thank you for letting me come. And Saturday is the anniversary, and I don't know what Mom's going to do with me, but anyway. But I thank you for letting me come down and say something to you. I want to let you all know I love you, and I'm sorry that the lady's not here today. And Mr. Anthony, please don't be mad. You can't take constructive criticism. I don't even know how you got to be a cop so long, but, you know, that comes with its own territory. You know what I'm saying? You can get pushed a bit, okay? But thanks a lot, and I appreciate it. Mr. Wilson, congratulations, huge. Well, you're a good lawyer. You help a lot of people out.
He lost a little weight.
You help a lot of people out.
He's on Jenny Craig, and
And you're doing good.
he's losing a pound a
I
day.
like you.
Pound a day.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor, for letting me speak. Deanne Wiesner, W-I-E-S-N-E-R, spokesperson for Your Right. We are a civil rights organization, and the majority of our members are indigent mothers that have lost their children either due to wrongful deaths, abuse, or neglect. We can be reached at 702-787-0002. You first saw me very angry because I had come here regarding domestic violence, and just as you bore the brunt of our anger, and I do represent quite a few mothers, we now ask you to bear the accolades, because someone in the city of Las Vegas brought to Brad Jerbick's attention that the city of Las Vegas was falsifying court documents. And so thank you for dropping the charges of seeking 4 years of jail time against me for violating a temporary protection order. Somebody conducted a little bit of due diligence, not enough, because the court documents filed by the city are still fraudulent, but somebody conducted enough due diligence to put a sentence in one of the court documents to say there is not a temporary protection order. I do wish somebody would conduct total due diligence, which is, in lay terms, doing your job, and correct the fraudulent court documents, which we now have located, and when I say we, Your Right, have located over 10 court documents that have been falsified by Brad Jerbick. We would like to, under the Nevada Public Information Act, clarify with you, if we may, the city of Las Vegas has advised us that they do not have an excess liability carrier. Is that true?
I don't know the answer. Do you have that, Mr. Sanchez? Do you know whether we have an excess liability carrier? I know that we are self-insured, but I'm not sure whether there's an excess carrier.
Mayor, I'm not certain about that, but I don't believe we do.
Okay, well, we'll get you the sure answer on that.
Okay.
If you call.
Mayor,
yes.
We do not. I can let you know.
Okay. Then our understanding is that when we have claims against the city, it's the self-insured amount, which is $3 million. We were advised is.
I don't know.
I think we have a reserve account of about $5 million.
$5 million. Okay. So our claims would be the $5 million, no excess carrier, and then the $70,000 a day cap by the NRS.
Once again, I have to turn to the city.
I can't give legal advice.
We're not asking legal advice. We're asking under the Nevada Public Information Act.
I don't know the answer. If I knew the answer, I would tell you.
Okay. We also would like clarification. Do you have authorization over Brad Jerbick?
Do I, personally?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. We are asking that he be fired. We are not the only ones that he's falsified court documents for. There have been several other citizens that have testified that court documents have been falsified. Martin Orsinelli has been named, and he works under Brad Jerbick, so we are calling for his firing. Also, we realize you don't have jurisdiction over the district courts, but the temporary protection orders are being denied or being granted out of the district courts. What is happening in the family division of the district court is putting a very heavy tax burden on the city of Las Vegas, on both their courts and their law enforcement. Again, I'm just asking, pleading with you to hear what is going on in the family division, because as a result, and they were injuncted by a federal judge, by the way, it's causing a lot of our tax dollars as City of Las Vegas residents, our tax dollars to be absorbed in claims of multi-million dollars in civil lawsuits.
Okay. What I'm going to ask you to do is, why don't you, if you can, you don't have to do anything. If you want to put something in writing, get it to me. I told you that I'd be happy to meet with you to discuss anything you want to talk to me about, since there's no pending litigation at this time. Call my office, find out where I'll be on my coffee with the mayor. Be delighted to try to answer some of the questions there.
Okay, and with all due respect, I mean absolutely no disrespect in saying this. I felt misled when the last time that we appeared asking to speak with you, and you said you will meet us for coffee. Your website says the first and third Friday of every month, and yet you misled me. You didn't tell me that you weren't having coffees for another 2 months. I felt very misled.
Well, I don't know what my I'm computer illiterate, so I know I don't have coffee 2 times a month, but we'll get together.
Okay.
I'm trying to be nice.
I know, and you are. One last thing I'd like to say is that the state of Nevada statistics, and this is regarding the Clark County commissioners, have been injuncted by a federal judge. The reason for their injunction is while the city of Las Vegas and Clark County have been dealing with planning issues, zoning issues, discussions like that, the wrongful deaths of children due to abuse and neglect in Clark County, that includes the city of Las Vegas, is 7 times what it was just last year. Last year, there were 20 deaths due to wrongful deaths due to abuse and neglect, and now there's over 40 by July. So I do hope you understand. We come here with an urgency of death due to abuse and neglect. We appreciate that you give planning and zoning time. I know that they're the majority of your constituents, but I think even one child dying due to abuse and neglect is one too many.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Dorothy Barnes, Las Vegas resident. I have a mailing address as P.O. Box 466, Las Vegas 89125. I know I'm late with part of your birthday gift, and I know we both getting older, and as you get older, this is something to help you see. And, it connects with everything that you can throw away all your other remotes. That way you don't have to look for them, and then you don't have to keep jumping up and down. Yeah, in memory of Tom, I brought this one, and then I have something now. Who says Christmas doesn't come twice? Here. Maybe I'll throw in a DVD, and if you don't have a DVD and a TV, a high-definition TV later on. You don't have a DVD?
No.
A CD? I'll throw that in with the other gift later on.
Okay.
But I'm still offering people to give me a signature on a promissory note. It's not just to help myself, but it's to help them understand things. Because since I've been in the state of Nevada, in this city, and I found out the information to help myself and other people, I had shared it with some people. When they enter Nellis Air Force Base, they are supposed to be instructed to check in with the security forces. It's not only for their safety and security, but for everyone they be allowed over there, including me. Because people have been allowed over there in the past without these instructions, and it's created this problem. And once again, once the train has left the station, it's hard to turn back, and it's hard to stop the train from moving forward. And even in a situation like this, is moving forward, and there's still complications because people are not properly instructed on what to do when they go out there. And even over here, it puts people like nobody knows what's going on. And I don't know who's responsible for placing my name on this program in the city, but I have asked the ones that I know that I come in contact with to cooperate with law enforcement. Don't wait till their names come up in the computer and the police have to continually call their names out and tell them that we put the warning in there, you all are ignoring us. The woman didn't put her name in there. They're ignoring law enforcement. So these people that are responsible, I hope they watch Channel 2, and I hope they get it together before the year is out, because it's not going to help me or them to continue this problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.
Enjoy your gift.
Well, Ms. Barnes, I don't. You're very, very nice, and I appreciate that. But you're not in a position to give me gifts, really.
Yeah. That's from my heart.
All right, then I'll accept it.
Just hook it up.
I'll accept it in the manner.
If you don't need it, maybe you can pass it on to Mr. Larry Brown.
Okay.
I'll see you in the next transportation meeting.
Well, Larry Brown, he abandoned us. So
he done left town?
No, he left his council, so I have no use for him anymore.
No, in the other meeting over there.
I don't even talk to him anymore.
In the other meeting at the transportation.
I want no part of him.
Yeah, you can pass it on to him.
I want no part of Larry Brown.
No, he left the council for a dysfunctional organization, so absolutely not.
I lost my reading glasses. I got to get an extra pair, so I know how it is. I'm 52 years over the hill now. See.
Okay, thank you very much, Tom. That's very nice. Bev, if you'd be kind enough to accept that gift on my behalf. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Todd Farlow, 240 North 19th Street. I'm here to ask the council to review their procedures in granting churches tax exempt status.
Wait, time. Do we do that?
Well,
That's the IRS.
it's in the backup. It's in the backup. And this is why I might need more than 3 minutes.
All right, go ahead.
Councilman Reese, the property that we're talking about right now is the old credit union savings and loan that's on the corner of Stewart and 15th. So just so we know what we're doing. And I'm really mad about this. So in a brief history, in the background, this is what happened. It was 2 properties were bulldozed, 2 residential properties were bulldozed to build what was originally a savings and loan bank. During the first Bush administration, during the great savings and loan debacle, they went south. And then it stood vacant for years, and then it morphed into a mortgage out there. It's called production mortgage. And just from the name of it, what they were doing is churning out toxic assets, right? They went belly up, of course, just within the past month. They were insured by AIG, so they got bailed out by the taxpayer. Then they have the audacity to take that property and declare it a church to take it off the tax rolls. Mayor and the council, these were the same mortgage people that have just decimated our neighborhood. My neighbor to the south, they took her job and she took her life. Monday, the constables came and evicted the 3 children and the teenage kids and the 1 18-month-old baby. So I am not the one to make the decision on whether they should get a church, because I am so angry at it that I couldn't make a rational decision. But still, Councilman Barlow has an area of his ward that has 95 churches in a small area, and those are taken off the tax roll. Now, I called the county assessor and asked if this particular property had been taken off the tax roll. They said it hasn't yet, that the paperwork had been sent, but it hadn't been returned yet. So I says, do you make the decision on this? And they said, no, we don't make the decision because that is already done by the planning, by the city determines whether it's suitable for a church. And so I called the planning and development, and they says, well, they just look if it's got the parking and that, and like fire codes, the minor things. But churches have even a bigger impact on that. Number one, I believe that there should be another bureaucracy level, and I'm the last one that wants another level of bureaucracy. But someone like the councilman, each councilman should review both the land use in that particular, in his area of the ward, and they ought to consider the financial impact of taking that land off the tax rolls. And they also should consider the density issues, like whether there's really too many churches in that particular area. But I think it should go beyond the staff of planning development, and I think it should have it should be up to each individual councilman whether it should be granted church exemption.
Thank you.
You know, if I can?
Yes.
Mr. Farlow, we're going to be able to talk here in a few minutes, so if you just stick around, I'd like to address some of these issues you brought up, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to be heard at this time? Yes, sir. Please give us your name.
My name is Minister Michael Staley, 100 Martin Luther King Boulevard. I came before the council today, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be before you this morning, or this afternoon. I came before you for the fact that I'm a recipient of a program that allowed the homeless to get off the street. And some couple months ago, I was homeless, and the neighborhood service, they participated in this. I'd like to mention Officer Baham. Officer Baham, he had assist me in getting off the street. As a matter of fact, I was homeless. I was living in a tent off of Four-Master, and I know that there's Councilman Steve Wolfman and Councilman Ricky Barlow had participated in this. I believe it was a couple months ago. They had came on the Four-Master and talked to a few individuals. And within 2 or 3 weeks later, it seemed that they were cleaning up the streets. And I was afforded the opportunity to allowed to move into an apartment. They paid my rent. They helped me get my lights on. It allowed me the opportunity to look for a job. I am fully employed right now. And basically what I want to say is that I've come before you with gratitude and appreciation to this city of Las Vegas for, I don't know the ins and outs of what happened, but I was a recipient of the cleanup of the homeless on Four-Master and Las Vegas Boulevard. And maybe you don't know this, but I was there for like maybe a month. But this is very important to know, is that while I was there, there were people who had set up and put the drug dealers in the tents, and they paid them and told them to just sell their drugs. And it was real grieving to me, because, you know, when people are on the streets, they're trying to get away from that, or they're trying to get some help. And the drug dealers were there. And when I saw the cleanup, it was just incredible. And I was a participant of it. I'm a recipient of it, and I am just so appreciative to whomever was a part of this cleanup. Ricky Barlow, I appreciate you, and I thank you, and I know you were a part of it. Mr. Wolfman, I know you were a part of it, and I thank you so very much. A friend of mine now, I see him every morning at the place of my employment, a Courthouse Bar and Grill. Put a plug in. Anyway. And he treats me with such high respect and dignity, and it just makes me want to. I come to work every day, and if I serve him coffee or whatever, and I'm not just trying to pump this up for anything, but I just want to show that gratitude for treating me like a human being. And I thank you guys so very much, so very much.
Mayor Goodman, if I may, Michael, I want the council to know that Michael is a friend of mine. I met Michael a couple months ago down at one of the local places, and Michael said to me a couple weeks ago, he says, can I come down to the council? You guys get so much grief and so much heartache. Everybody's always complaining, but I received something from the city of Las Vegas. Can I come down there and let you guys know? And I told him about this citizen participation. I think last meeting you tried to get down here and you couldn't make it on time, and here he is again. So look at the people we have in this community. Michael, I'm proud to call you a friend of mine. You were, like you said, in some of the down times of your life, but you're back up on your feet now, and you're just doing great. So I just want to personally thank you for coming down here today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank
You
you.
always wanted to meet you.
Very good.
I got to get back to work.
All right. Good luck. Okay, would anyone else like to be heard at this time? All right, seeing none, we're going to go on to item number 82. 82 is the council recognition. Any member of the council wish to speak to any portion of the agenda?
Yeah, for me, boy.
All right, go ahead. Mayor Pro Tem.
Mr. Farlow, could you come forward, please? Come back up. I'm not going to take any action, Your Honor, but I just want to, Todd said something about a production company over there.
It's called Production Mortgage Company. They were just churning out bundling the security, the mortgages, and, just, they were just.
I never did see that
But,
application.
Councilman.
Well, no. I'm just going to make a couple of statements here. The credit union went out of business. We had that vacant building sitting there.
Right.
Now, I'm going to ask staff, Margot especially, if she remembers, I think we've already approved the church to go in there.
You're right, because the assessor sent the stuff out, and they didn't do that until the planning.
Yeah. But again, though, we had, I think, 3 people at the council meeting at that time, and all of them was wanting the church to be there. And so it's really hard to make a motion for denial. But again, we had the church the new church across the street to the west, and then we had the church parking lot kitty corner. And so I've never ever had it brought up that that they're not on the tax roll. I've always felt like it was a use that we have to have in neighborhoods. I've tried to regulate how many we have in a neighborhood, but this one here, I felt because of the church across the street, different denominational, and for the people that would be attending the church, that it would be appropriate. Again, though, I am going to check into seeing what we do have, and I know we do recognize churches in a neighborhood, but we've also denied many churches in the neighborhood because of overcrowding and stuff. And I just appreciate you coming down here today and bringing this to our attention. I appreciate your effort you do at the Planning Commission. You've always, represented yourself well, and I want you to know that we care. We do care, and we will do all we can.
I appreciate it.
I know Brian's taking notes down there, and we're going to check into everything you said, so I just wanted you to know.
The people of the church are probably fine. It's just the circumstances.
I understand that. And then one other thing, Your Honor, I just want to thank the council members, you, Mayor, for helping me honor this young man, the gentleman we did this morning as Citizen of the Month. When I first met the guy, I was really enthralled with what he did and how he handled himself. To me, he is a gentleman, and he is a hero to me. So I want to thank you guys for allowing me to do that today. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Councilman Ross.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want the folks at home to know that September 11th is Movie in the Park again. That's at 8 a.m. September 11th. The movie is Bedtime Stories, Your Honor, if you want to come out. At the Centennial Hills Amphitheater.
Do you have any gin there?
No gin. No gin.
Is Bedtime Stories a children's movie or an adult movie?
No, it is a children's film, and it's a BYOB, bring your own blanket and lawn chairs. Again, that's September 11th, 8 o'clock, Centennial Hills Amphitheater. Thank you, Your Honor.
Councilman Anthony.
Just want to let everybody know that on September 12th, which is Saturday, we're going to have a ALS walk. ALS is the medical term for Lou Gehrig's disease, a very serious nerve disease, and we're going to have a walk at Police Memorial Park up at Cheyenne and Grand Canyon. It starts at 9 o'clock. It's open to everyone in the community. It's free. Obviously, we'd like to have some folks donate some money to help this cause, and we're going to walk around the park a few times and just make people aware of Lou Gehrig's disease. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, Councilman Barlow.
Thank you. On tomorrow, I will be hosting once again Coffee with the Councilman at Rancho and Bonanza from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. September 3rd. Coffee with the Councilman. So I look forward to another great day of conversation with the constituents of fabulous Ward 5, and looking forward to hearing from you all. So please come out, Rancho and Bonanza, Starbucks. Please have some. Thank you, Councilman.
Sorry, Councilman.
Councilman, did you say from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.?
That was the confusion of Councilman Ross playing with the microphone. That was 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Oh, okay, because even I can't drink that long.
So please come out. Look forward to having everyone come out tomorrow, September 3rd, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Thank you.
Very good. Councilor Wilson, you want to know announcements? Okay, well, we're going to have a fun event on September the 9th, and I can't give you the exact times. My wife and myself are supposed to renew our 47th anniversary vows down on Fremont Street. Elvis will be there. He will be the minister, and everybody in the whole city is invited down there. We're going to have refreshments and a lot of laughs, and I just hope my wife is going to go through with it. Meeting's adjourned.